Chapter 1285. Above sky-bearing island. Strange phenomena appeared and stirred the nine heavens. Below sky-bearing city, some of the young prodigies of alchemy were dumbfounded. They had never seen such a scene before. No less than 15 orange-grade alchemy hand seals had appeared at the same time. Many of the young prodigies of alchemy had never seen or heard of such a scene. Even the pill domain, which had many alchemists, had never seen such a scene before. However, what shocked them even more was that the alchemy methods of the seated contestants were eye-opening. Using spirit plants of fortune to refine pills, using dragon corpses to refine pills, borrowing the power of heaven and earth to refine pills. There was everything. As expected of the Heaven's Choice Conference, there's always a historical moment of alchemy. Alchemy that surpasses common sense, as expected of my goddess. Using spirit plants of fortune to refine pills. No one in the world can match her. Below sky-bearing city, it was a scene of excitement. Pairs of excited eyes stared at the scenes projected by the thousands of light screens, causing people's heartstrings to tighten. The opening attracted countless people. Inside the island, on both sides of the white jade square. Using dragon corpses to refine pills may be the best way to absorb dragon energy. However, just this idea is a bit ridiculous. If only the flesh and blood of the dragon is kept, then it's just the appearance and not the essence. But if the complete dragon corpse is kept and the dragon's aura is pure, it is as difficult as ascending to the heavens to control mental energy from the dragon corpse to refine pills. It's like cooking a dish in a pot of boiling oil. How is it possible to prepare all the ingredients of the dish in the pot of boiling oil? The experts who were watching from the walls were filled with confusion and shock. Such strange mental energy. Who is this person? A candidate for the monster genius ranking. Dongfang Wuji of a rank 6 family. His life force is very weak, but it gives this old man a deep mental wariness. This is not mental energy that a person of his age should have. The elder group all stood up, feeling that something was wrong. Their expressions were grave. "Don't move," the hunchbacked old man said. "Sit down. Don't let outsiders see you as a joke." From the looks of the rules, this person did not break the rules at all. If you rashly interfere, do you want the world to see our pill domain as a joke? The hunchbacked old man's words were sharp, and the powerful elders immediately fell into hesitation. Looks like there are a lot of variables in this year's Heaven's Choice Assembly. The hunchbacked old man looked at several figures, and finally, his gaze landed on Lin Shun, who was in the corner. "Little guy, what kind of surprise can you bring us? There are many experts this time. However, I, Long Yijing, will definitely be ranked at the top of the younger generation. Let that bastard Lin Chen know who is the one who is more worthy of Qinwu." The dragon ritual crystal that was surrounded by lightning dragons formed a hand seal, and a crystal-clear jade stone appeared in the palm of his hand. It was surrounded by thunder and lightning, and as it shuttled back and forth, it was thrown towards the sky. TSK. Boom! The thunderclouds in the sky exploded, and a 10,000-foot-long ball of lightning surged out from the thunderclouds. Lightning flickered like a slowly rising new moon, releasing the extreme power of lightning. Endless power of lightning gathered like the wind and clouds. Long Yijing's palm clung to the alchemy furnace, and his hand seals became slower and slower. However, every time he formed a hand seal, the power of the lightning crystal core could be perfectly integrated into the ingredients in the alchemy furnace, and his lightning elemental saint power continued to surge. It's the lightning crystal core. Long Yijing actually used this trump card. This is one of the sacred items that can unleash the full potential of the Long family's lightning elemental alchemy hand seal. It looks like he is determined to suppress Lin Shun. The other two contestants on a monster ranking glanced at Lin Shun from the corner of their eyes, and they were gloating. What a powerful aura. It's the lightning crystal core. He dares to use the lightning crystal core's power to refine pills. This kid really has the shadow of the Long family's ancestors. The three elders who were mainly observing the younger generation were surprised. This kid dared to add foreign objects into the alchemy hand seal, which meant that he had already mastered the hand seal to the peak. Buzz. On the west side of the White Jade Plaza, a strange phenomenon of hundreds of flowers blooming appeared out of nowhere. No, it wasn't a phenomenon. It was real. When he used his saint power to activate the alchemy hand seal, it was as if the flowers were blooming in spring and the begonias were blooming. Inside Sky Bearing City, under the Saint Power spatial light screen, a group of infatuated women stared at the young man in the sea of begonias. His eyebrows were raised, his nose was high, and he was 8 feet tall. When he activated the alchemy hand seal, his fingernails glowed with a faint purple light. He was like a person in a painting, free and easy. The women were mesmerized. It was the young man who was pursuing Princess Zi Yunqing, Sword Saint Begonia of the monster ranking, Long Yishuan. His pill-refining hand seal was full of vitality, causing people to feel relaxed and happy. Even Lin Chun was a little envious. It was another orange-grade alchemy hand seal. This kind of alchemy hand seal had a huge boost and amplification to the refinement of restoration-type pills. Long Yishuan's provocative gaze swept over Lin Chun, as if he was also challenging him. Don't think that you can get close to the princess just because she likes you. Princess Zi Yunqing is mine. Lin Chun's mouth twitched. Before Lin Chun could retort, a phenomenon appeared. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The red cherry petals in the sky withered instantly. Zi Yunqing stood proudly on the branches, her fingertips pointing rapidly as her hands formed a seal. A talisman appeared between her brows. Boom! Huge purple flames swept across the sky. Lin Chen's great flame, sacred phoenix bloodline, actually throbbed faintly. This woman can trigger my elemental bloodline? She's not just a human? Lin Chun was shocked. A pair of huge wings appeared above Zi Yunqing's head. Her head was like an eagle's, her chin like a swallow's, and her neck like a snake's. Her body was wriggling with purple-red feathers, and her 5-colored fishtail feathers fluttered in the air. Her figure exuded a desolate aura, as if a prehistoric sacred spirit had descended. The phoenix's cry resonated in the sky as it released purple-red light. Accompanied by Zi Yunqing's hand seal, an 8th-level sacred beast core quietly shattered and turned into energy for alchemy. What was even more mysterious was that her middle-grade spiritual plan of providence, the true phoenix cherry tree, actually danced with the holy phoenix's phantom. The energy of the medicinal plant was constantly increasing, but it was all under Zi Yunqing's control. What a domineering energy. I see. The eyes of the hunchbacked elder in the jury lit up. This woman has both the human and phoenix bloodlines. No wonder she can control the true phoenix cherry tree to refine pills. This little girl might really be able to shake those old guys. The battle between the new generation and the old generation, this time, is much more exciting than before. Some of the rank 6 families stared at Zi Yunqing with envy. This woman's potential was unimaginable. She perfectly fused 2 bloodlines, was a peerless genius in alchemy, and was on the demon list. Among the rank 6 families, there weren't many demon geniuses that could be compared to her. Even among the rank 7 giants, she was one of the top. Whoosh! A hurricane swept by, and a pressure descended. Zi Yunqing actually looked down at Lin Chun while she was refining pills. Her arrogant eyes seemed to be questioning Lin Chun. This is the distance between us. How long do you plan on hiding, Lin Chun? Use your trump card, and then clearly see the difference between you and me. Everyone looked at Lin Chun in unison. He was the only one present who didn't start refining pills. There were too many legends about this young man. Some said that he was the beginning of a revolution in the alchemy world. Some said that he was the most likely person to break the rules of alchemy. Some said that he was a swindler. But these were all too confusing and beyond common sense. More importantly, if he didn't make a name for himself in the alchemy world of the Dan region, no one would believe his legends, because this place was the center and origin of alchemy in the sacred boundary. Chapter 1286. You can't wait to see my big baby? Looks like you're not as cold as the rumors say. Lin Chen smiled mockingly. His words made Zi Yunqing's face darken. He lowered his head and looked at the demonic seal on his palm. This time, there are only a few people who will drop spiritual energy light balls. Looks like I can refine pills in peace. Lin Chen looked at the pale but sinister young man who used the dragon corpse to refine pills. He could roughly guess this person's true identity. I didn't expect an old monster like him to come. Looks like I have to give it my all this time. Lin Chen exhaled. The corners of his mouth curled up, and he was overflowing with arrogance. You want to see, right? I'll fulfill your wish. Lin Chen took a step forward, and his shoulders suddenly shook. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Divine light flashed. At this moment, flowers fell from the sky. 9-colored divine light shuttled through the heavens and bloomed beside Lin Chen. 6 Lin Chens appeared out of nowhere. All the illusionary doppelgangers stood beside Lin Chen. Their appearances were majestic and handsome. Amidst their domineering arrogance, there was a resolute determination to cut off all means of retreat. Doppelganger technique? It's so mysterious. It's not as simple as a spiritual energy doppelganger. Even I can't see through it. It's hard to tell the real from the fake. The panel of elders exclaimed. At their level of spiritual energy, ordinary doppelganger techniques were nothing in front of them. They could see through the real body a glance. However, with 7 Lin Chens standing together, it was hard to tell the real from the fake. If they didn't know where the real body was standing at the beginning, no one would be able to see the real body. What a profound cultivation technique. If I were to obtain this cultivation technique, then in the future, the position of Palace Master of the 1,000 Shadows Flowing Flower Palace would be mine. This technique is very useful. The eyes of the monsters on the demon rankings lit up with greed and fanaticism. Once the doppelgangers appeared, Lin Chen's aura skyrocketed. He waved his hands in the air. Space rippled, and a brand new dimension appeared on top of each other. A fairyland-like paradise had descended. On the other side, it was spring with blooming flowers and a towering valley. Lin Chen had actually opened his clear snow plant pouch and Taoyuan plant pouch. Of course, he had only opened half of the 2 plant pouches. The other half hid some secrets and treasures that Lin Chen could not reveal. Many experts were shocked. The Purple Cloud King Valley's elders felt their scalps go numb. Qing Yao painted a paradise, while Long Qing transformed into a coiled dragon. 10,000 immortals stood in the clouds, the dragon blood flashing with red light. Peaches of immortality are seen in the clear snow and long mountains, and the 5 elements of spiritual plants grow around the elephant. Crimson gold ivy coils around the immortal mountain, crowding around Qing Shui's wandering spirit. The scene was too shocking. 13 kinds of fortune spirit plants. How dare he act so pretentious? The 5 element spirit plants were actually collected by him, and the Long Qing Shu. Wandering God Tree. Holy immortality peaches. My God, where did this monster come from? Is he the legendary person with heaven-defying luck? He actually has 2 such rare spirit plants. Some of the experienced and knowledgeable veteran experts were shocked speechless. Even many geniuses on the monster genius roll with strong family backgrounds were dumbfounded. Everyone knew that one would be rewarded with 5 spirit plant seeds of providence for being on the monster genius roll. But according to the normal rules, a portion of the spirit plant seeds of providence had to be handed over to the sect or faction they belonged to. This was the reciprocation that the sect nurtured talents deserved. In other words, the number of spirit plants of providence that a genius on the monster genius roll actually carried was between 3 to 4. Only some truly large and powerful factions would hand over all the spirit plant seeds of providence to their disciples. There were very few people like the Purple Cloud Green who could also carry middle-grade spirit plants. But now, Lin Chen had appeared and also had middle-grade spirit plants of providence. How could this not shock everyone? There was also the legendary Wandering God Tree that countless alchemists dreamed of. As for the 5 elemental spirit plants, the metal, wood, water, fire, and earth elemental spirit plants were rewards for being on the monster genius roll, and Lin Shun had collected all of them. The value of such spirit plants was slightly lower than the more valuable spirit plants. But if one could collect all 5 types, their value would increase exponentially. They could produce 5 elemental treasure chi that was extremely helpful for cultivation. The 7 Lin Shun stood in a group, and with a thought, the 13 spirit plants of providence shook. Tens of thousands of herbs floated up. Lin Shun looked up suddenly, and his eyes focused. Using his dragon power, he let out a dragon roar, and his vast spirit power split into thousands of streams. He could observe freely and form hand seals instantly. The tens of thousands of herbs converged into 7 energy torrents and were refined rapidly. That was not all. The speed at which Lin Shun used the herbs was extremely fast. An endless stream of herbs was injected into the energy torrents. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Streams of light crisscrossed, and herbs of different attributes and types of energy were condensed accurately. Pew! Many hermit alchemists who had been talking loudly just a moment ago and were drinking hot tea and bragging about their past pill refinement spat out when they saw this scene. The elders of the jury abruptly stood up, their gazes shocked and shocked. Below sky-bearing city, countless alchemists were dumbstruck. This scene was too shocking. Rumors were rumors and were far less shocking than seeing it with their own eyes. Not to mention that some people had not heard of Lin Shen's rumors or did not believe them at all. The hunchbacked old man slowly stood up. He ground his teeth so hard that they creaked. Beneath his calm expression, there was shock and astonishment like a stormy sea. There really is such a ridiculous thing in the world. Song Ilyin, who was on the high platform, straightened her body, her beautiful eyes shining as she stared at Lin Shun. The 7 Lin Shins had their hands behind their backs, their gazes as sharp as swords as they looked down on the sky. Streaks of sharp spiritual light flashed through his eyes. The wind and clouds suddenly changed, and the energy surged. He didn't even have to form a seal with a single finger. Just that pair of sharp, threatening, and spirited eyes were enough to make all herbs move in unison. Zi Yinqing frowned. Her cold and moving face looked calm, but her heart was in a rare state. He is actually using his eyes to refine pills. Shangguan Luli, Qi Mei'er, and the other girls had seen Lin Shen's pill refinement with their own eyes. Now that they saw it again, it was still so shocking. Those who had seen Lin Shen's pill refinement with his eyes felt their hearts palpitate as they thought of what he had said that day. That he could go one level higher. Now they finally understood. That day, Lin Shun had only refined pills with his true body. He had not used his avatars yet. Last time, it was 1 Lin Shun. This time, it was 7 Lin Shun. Perhaps he was the only one in the world who could do such a thing. Could it be that he can really compete with Long Yijing? The elegant young man in green could not help but gulp. Long Yijing was the man who had defeated him in pill refinement. Even he felt inferior to Long Yijing. Could this brat really shake Long Yijing's talent in pill refinement? Is this what you meant by going one level higher? Interesting. The difference between a 4th grade and a 3rd grade pill is not something that can be made up by the number of people you have. Long Yijing glanced at Lin Shun from the corner of his eyes. He was about to sneer when he suddenly stopped. Next, an even more unexpected scene appeared before everyone's eyes. Chapter 12, 87. The youth's left, I was filled with tenderness, and his right, I was mesmerizing. His eyebrows were filled with the vicissitudes of life. The chief alchemist of the Cloud and Rain Palace, Wan Yunyu. At this moment, his 10,000 forms Cloud and Rain hand seal was being overshadowed by a young man's alchemy. He couldn't help but click his tongue as he stared at the energy of the herbs that resembled the stars in the sky. His heart was in turmoil. Is that the kid who appeared a while ago? He doesn't even need to form a seal to refine pills. Qian Yu's Hua Qianxuan's eyebrows were blazing red, but his body shook violently, and the corner of his mouth twitched a few times. Is there such a thing in the world? Using his eyes to refine pills? Young people these days are getting more and more ridiculous. Below Sky Bearing City, many alchemy prodigies sighed in amazement when they saw the vast whirlpool of herbs. It was a level that they could never reach in their lifetime. In the next moment, an even more unexpected scene appeared. Walala! The 13 spirit plants of Providence consumed herbs too quickly. Tens of millions of Silver Saint origin coins were burning to increase Lin Chen's refining speed. Lin Chen's consumption of herbs was dozens of times faster than all the alchemists present. It was 100 times faster. His psychic power was like the starry sky under the universe, deep and mysterious. It was right in front of them, but it was unreachable. Clang! A handsome genius was dumbfounded. The jade cup in his hand fell to the ground and shattered. Most of the alchemists participating in the competition had mental energy that was like a bottomless lake. However, Lin Shun was like a raging ocean that had no end. Song Yilian's eyes suddenly lit up, and a trace of surprise appeared on her cold and beautiful face. His mental energy has reached this level. Everyone present who had mental energy above the middle stage of the Saint Rudiment realm was shocked. Late stage Saint Rudiment realm. His mental energy has reached the late stage Saint Rudiment realm. He's going to turn the world upside down. Is this kid going to turn the world upside down? How old is he? Right. He has the wandering divine tree. No wonder, no wonder. The various saint-level alchemists cried out in shock, but they also cried out that something was wrong. Late stage, Saint Rudiment realm mental energy in his 20s? Even if he started cultivating in his mother's womb, it was impossible. The corner of Long Yishuan's mouth twitched. Mastery Saint Rudiment stage. That was a realm that even he couldn't break through even after using all the power of his sect. On the contrary, he was still very far away from reaching the highest realm. Zi Yunqing, the princess of the ancient Holy Empire, was moved for the first time. He's actually at the same level as me. When Lin Chen's mental strength was revealed, everyone from a jury to the experts of Sky Bearing Island were shocked and horrified. Saint Rudiment realm mental energy. Every realm was a whole new world. A middle Saint Rudiment realm expert could easily suppress an early Saint Rudiment realm expert with a single thought. Only a few old monsters or alchemy giants who have been famous for hundreds of years could step into the late Saint realm. As far as the alchemists in this heavenly selection meeting were concerned, there were only about 12 Saint Rudiment stage alchemists. The class leader actually broke through to the Saint Realm Mastery stage. Han Yiji was pleasantly surprised. With her nihility body, she naturally had the advantage of cultivating mental strength, but she still couldn't reach this realm. It could be seen how crazy Lin Chen's seclusion was during this period of time. Fairy Crimson's beautiful eyes flashed. She stared at Lin Chen's back as if she was thinking about something. His speed of improvement is too fast. I'm afraid I can't even catch up with his back. Jin Qingqing's heart was bitter. She could still participate in the Holy War for another 10 years until she became a monster candidate. Jin Qingqing's cultivation speed was unrivaled among geniuses of the same age, but in front of Lin Shun, it wasn't worth mentioning at all. The little demon empress' beautiful lips curled up slightly. Finally, he had also reached this realm. When the two of them first met, Lin Shun was just a little war emperor. Now that she had broken through to the Expanse Point realm at lightning speed, this so-called lightning speed was nothing in front of Lin Shun. Lin Shun really is an existence that defies common sense. In this world, there is actually someone who doesn't care about the laws of cultivation. Perhaps he can reach the realm that the ancestors of Purple Cloud King Valley couldn't reach. The elders of Purple Cloud King Valley sighed in amazement. Then, the little demon empress' words enlightened the elders and many alchemists. Everyone, you only saw his mental strength of the late stage of the Saint Rudiment realm, but you didn't see his true trump card. The little demon empress raised her slender jade finger and smiled, charming everyone. Think about it. What did he do with his doppelganger? The little demon empress' words made everyone suddenly stagnate. Doppelganger? His doppelganger had strength comparable to his main body and could pass off as real. Wait a minute. Thinking of this, even the elders of the jury's pupils trembled. If it can really compare to his main body, then wouldn't he? At this moment, whether it was the elders of the jury, Song Ilian, or all the hidden old monsters, they all felt a chill from the bottom of their feet to the top of their heads. It was equivalent to 7 late-stage Saint Rudiment realm alchemists refining pills together. Was he still human? Wasn't he, Lin Shun, the equivalent of 7 Saint Rudiment realm alchemists? If his main body's alchemy skill was 4th grade, then he was 7 4th-grade alchemists refining pills together. What if it reached a higher level? It was terrifying to think about it. It was truly terrifying to think about it, and people didn't even dare to continue thinking about it. No wonder he consumed the medicinal ingredients so quickly. This was part of the reason. 7 Saint Rudiment realm alchemists refining pills together. When everyone looked again, they saw that the medicinal ingredients of the 13 spirit plants of destiny were being extracted and refined by the 7 Lin Shun at an extremely fast speed. Every Lin Shun's refining method was the same, and they completed the fusion of the medicinal ingredients with a raise of their eyebrows. It was natural and seamless, and there was no sense of stagnation, showing the style of a master. Isn't this breaking the rules? Some of the monstrous geniuses who were watching the competition were shocked. The rules of the competition state that all alchemy skills are considered the alchemist's own skill, except for the help of outsiders or the mixing of finished pills. The hunchbacked old man of the jury glanced at the monster with a sneer, and there was still shock in the depths of his old eyes. Since Lin Shun was able to remain calm in the face of his mental suppression during the first test, he had expected that this kid's mental strength might be on the same level as Zi Yunqing's. However, he had underestimated this kid. He actually had a doppelganger skill that was comparable to his main body strength. To put it bluntly, this kid might shake the foundations of all the participating alchemists. Song Yilian's beautiful eyes glowed, and a strong sense of curiosity and excitement appeared on her pretty face. This young man is very interesting. Compared to the normal doppelganger skill, it can't be compared at all. The doppelganger also consumes the host's mental strength. More importantly, even if one doesn't specifically control it, the doppelganger can't be as precise as the main body in refining pills. His doppelganger skill is too mysterious. Chapter 1288. At this moment, fancy. Only the doppelganger technique is worth looking at. The young man, Dongfang Wuji, sneered. The energy in the dragon corpse in front of him became stronger, as if a new dragon had been born. A giant dragon had been revived. The attention the jury paid to Dongfang Wuji was no less than the attention they paid to Zi Yunqing and Lin Shun. It was very simple. This young man's alchemy skills were very strange. Although it was not as amazing as Lin Chen's alchemy skills, his alchemy skills were very strange. Even the old monsters in the jury, who had lived for countless eras, could not see what grade of alchemy handprint he was using. They could not even see through his mental realm. It was very strange. This young man was strange to the extreme. The new and old alchemists were very interesting to watch. The appearance of Lin Chen's clone in alchemy ignited the fighting spirit of all the alchemists who participated in the competition. Long Yijing was the only one who looked uncomfortable, as if he had eaten hot shit. His state of mind was in a mess, which almost caused him to fail in his alchemy. Damn it, how can I lose to him? My alchemy skills are unrivaled on the Demon Genius list. If I lose to this savage, wouldn't I be denying everything about my Long family? I must win it back. Long Yijing roared hysterically. At this moment, Lin Shun crossed his arms in front of his chest and stared at the sky. He was completely focused on alchemy. The sharpness in his eyes did not diminish and shone brightly. During this time, he kept eating the roaming soul fruit. The instantaneous speed of the second stage mental awakening and his advancement to the Mastery Saint rudiment stage had increased his alchemy efficiency and accuracy by more than 10 times. However, the shortcoming of consuming a large amount of mental strength could not be improved. Fortunately, the mental strength consumed by Lin Chen's clone could be made up with the rune's energy attribute. He did not need an alchemy furnace. His mental strength was the best alchemy furnace. It had the most precise parts for alchemy and could help him run the alchemy process. Whether I succeed or fail, this is probably the craziest alchemy I've ever done in my life. Lin Chen's eyes shone with the determination to cut off all means of retreat. Lin Chen's only weakness was probably the grade of his alchemy hand seal, which was not at the orange level. Orange tier alchemy handprints were too difficult to obtain. A single one could change the fate of a top grade 5 sect and greatly affect the development of a grade 6 sect. All of Lin Chen's opponents were old monsters from the Sacred Boundary or people ranked on the genius rankings with great backgrounds. The accumulation of power from their ancestors was not something that could be easily shaken. However, with Lin Chen's numerous trump cards, it wouldn't matter even if he didn't have an orange tier alchemy hand seal. Scenes of the past appeared in Lin Chen's eyes. Let's go back to a month ago. On the 8th floor of the Boundary Tower, inside Old Shun's secret chamber. When Old Shun opened the jade slip in his palm, his expression changed from puzzlement to shock, and then to confusion. What is this kid trying to do? Sealed within the jade slip were a large number of repetitive temporary pill recipes. Temporary pill recipes were the type that would be wasted after reading them once with one's mind power. They were usually used for collaborative pill refinement or to quickly record pill recipes. When he closed the jade slip, Old Shun stared at the storage ring that Lin Chen had given him. There were thousands of astral travel fruits inside, which made him unable to calm down for a long time. There's always a fine line between a genius and a lunatic. Rather than calling this young man a genius, it's better to call him a lunatic. Old Shin sighed and sent a secret voice transmission to the lower 3 floors of the Boundary Tower. All alchemy department elders on the middle 3 floors. Head to the 8th floor immediately. Old Shun's words mobilized all the high-end alchemists in the Boundary Tower. Lin Shun used the astral travel fruits as a bargaining chip to get Old Shun to order all the high-end alchemists in the Boundary Tower. He was going to play a big game. This would be the most important pill refinement in his life. Lin Shun would definitely give it his all, and give it his all. He would not hold back in this pill refinement. He had yet to use the trump card that he had mentioned to reach a higher level. Time passed. The Heavenly Choice Convention was a feast for the eyes of all the experts present. It was as if they were enjoying a great feast of pill refinement. Below Sky Bearing City, the images projected by Saint Power gathered countless heated gazes as they stared at the busy figures and hand seals on Sky Bearing Island. Everyone looked up at the phenomena on Sky Bearing Island or focused on the screen. The heated discussion continued without end. Some people even started betting on who would enter the top 10 and become a champion. There was no tiredness at all. Almost no one was willing to miss a single detail to watch an alchemist of this level refine pills with their own eyes. Every move displayed the style of a grandmaster. Outside of Sky Bearing City, many rank 2 and rank 3 sects had gathered with their disciples and elders to watch the battle. The terrifying flow of people caused the area outside Sky Bearing City to be filled with people and carriages. Some were ferocious beast mounts flying in the sky, and some were saints sitting in the air with large groups of people. Even if they couldn't observe the saint power inside Sky Bearing City, they could still use their saint power or battle force. They could see the phenomena on Sky Bearing Island from tens of thousands of kilometers away. To be able to see such a high-level pill refinement feast with their own eyes, as a mortal their life was not in vain. On the 7th day, another saint-level alchemist made a small mistake. The energy in the embryonic pill was chaotic and caused him to fail and leave the stage. On the 8th day, 2 saint-level alchemists failed to merge the energy of Saint Beast cores and left the stage. All the participating alchemists were tense and didn't relax. The pill refinement, this time, was unprecedentedly difficult. The slightest mistake would result in failure. However, on the 9th day, all the experts on Sky-Bearing Island stared in one direction. It was Lin Chun. What is he trying to do with that attitude? Heavens, look for St. Great embryonic pills? What is he trying to do at this time? Everyone was shocked. Even the elders of the jury were dumbfounded. The little demon empress had an excited expression. Her beautiful eyes were shining as if she didn't care about the matter at all. Han Yiji and Jian Qingqing's mouths were slightly open. In the White Jade Plaza, in the area where Lin Chen's spirit plants of destiny were located, the energy and herbs floating in the air were as vast as 7 millstones that were thousands of meters long. What no one expected was that he had actually refined 4 St. Great embryonic pills. Are you kidding me, boss? Are you choosing concubines here? Refining several at once and choosing the best one? The Heaven's Choice Convention looked at the final result. Quantity was useless. Did this Lin make the wrong pill? Or did he lose his brain? All the forces had the same thought. They all thought that this young man had lost his mind. Ha, wonderful Lin Chun. Refining 4 embryonic pills. Are you trying to show everyone how fast you are? Long Yijing laughed at the sky. The efficiency of his pill refinement increased. Just this. Zi Yinqing was arrogant and disdainful. She glanced at Lin Chun disappointedly. With Lin Chun doing this, there was no doubt that he would not be able to surpass Zi Yinqing. Quantity and quality were 2 different things. Chapter 1289. Lin Chun was so focused that he ignored everyone's doubts, disdain, and mockery. He only had eyes for pill refinement. 2 of the 6 avatars were refining pills with Lin Chun, and 4 were refining pills independently. They had a clear goal and flowed smoothly. Only the saint-level alchemists of the merchant group sneered at first, but then they were shocked. If that was the case, then didn't he refine the pills himself before the competition started? Then the speed at which he produced the holy elixir was too fast. One person was stronger than 6 people. On Sky-Bearing Island, there was a pavilion on the south side of the plaza. 12 monster, genius-ranking prodigies who weren't alchemists were watching. They had different expressions when they looked in Lin Chen's direction. What is he doing? A monster genius-ranking prodigy who hadn't participated in the competition asked curiously. I don't understand, but I can be sure that he's not the kind of person to just stand there and wait. This person may be a monster genius-ranking prodigy, but he's the most dangerous person in our pavilion recently. He must be plotting something. Another monstrous genius who wore a cloak and held a tree branch in his hand spoke seriously. This person's aura was retracted, and his eyes were filled with sword light that had returned to its original state. When he stared at Lin Chun, there was no hint of contempt in his eyes. I agree. Look at the little demon empress. I don't think this Lin Chun is here to show off. The red-robed young man whistled. Out of the corner of his eye, he looked at Zi Yunqing with a serious expression. On the 10th day, there were still saint-level alchemists who were eliminated. However, 4 beams of holy light shot into the sky from Sky-Bearing Island's White Jade Plaza and attracted everyone's attention. Below Sky-Bearing City, a saint pill has appeared. So fast, only a third of the competition's time has passed. A saint ring has appeared. Look closely, what grade is it? Many young alchemy prodigies stared fixedly at the top of Sky-Bearing Island. It was the same outside Sky-Bearing City. The saints felt that a saint pill had appeared. It had only been a few days. Could it be that they were too late? In the sky above Sky Pillar Island, pill clouds lingered and rosy clouds rose. Between the birth and death of his Dan Shi, there was a light drizzle. The raindrops were filled with a fragrant aroma. When one sniffed it lightly, one would feel relaxed and happy. There were even signs that his saint power was increasing. In the void, for pills the size of Long Qing transformed into 4 soaring phoenixes. For phoenix phantoms formed from the spirituality of the pills, surrounded by 4 layers of halos. This is pill rain. 4 saint rings. All the pills have 4 saint rings. Pill rain, Rank 4 appears. These are actually 4 Tier 4 saint pills. The pharmacists from all walks of life lost their voices in shock. The elders of the jury all had different expressions. It was too fast. It should be said that it was ridiculously fast. Refining a Tier 4 divine pill was not difficult for the elders of the jury. At their level, only Tier 5 divine pills and above could be considered challenging. The 4 medicinal pills are all of the 4th rank, but this speed is too heaven-defying. The hunchbacked elder shook his head and clicked his tongue. Even the elders of the jury, with sufficient materials, would find it difficult to refine 2 Tier 4 divine pills in 10 days, let alone 4. Lin Chen's efficiency and success rate were ridiculously fast. This was the advantage of spiritual awakening. As long as Lin Chen's spiritual power could support the consumption, his spiritual seals would surpass the speed of all pharmacists of the same level. Naturally, his refining speed would be far faster than normal. On the high platform, Song Yilian, who had always been elegant and refined and ignorant of worldly affairs, was itching unbearably. Her beautiful eyes flashed with intense curiosity. She could not see through Lin Chen. She could not see through him at all. She was a pharmacist of her generation. She had created many precedents and unique methods of refining pills, which were collected by various rank 6 and even rank 7 sections. When it came to refining pills, even if it was a realm that she had not reached before, she still had enough foresight and experience to look forward to. She was almost an authoritative existence. However, from the beginning until now, all the methods used by this little guy were beyond her knowledge and expectations. She could not understand at all. What are you trying to do? The energy synthesis between pills is completely different and very complicated. You should be very clear about it. Refining extra pills is simply a waste of time. Song Yilian racked her brains, but could not figure out what this young man was trying to do. The more she couldn't figure it out, the more unbearable her curiosity became. If it wasn't for the fact that it was the chosen one, with her temperament, she would have directly interrupted the meeting. She would have forcefully pulled Lin Chen into her secret room and studied him for months or even years. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Lin Chen waved one hand and directly collected the 4 divine pills. Rumble. The 13 plants of providence shook together, and a large number of heaven and earth treasures and level 8 herbs shot out. There was almost no pause or hesitation, as if everything was within Lin Chen's expectations. His doppelganger's eyes turned and gathered a large number of herbs to refine pills again. At this time, everyone could only think of one thing. Perhaps Lin Chen did not have a level 5 pill formula. Was he trying to modify the pill formula on the spot? This was the only possibility. He was the only one on the monster genius list, the only one without any backing. It was reasonable that he did not have the time and foundation to accumulate level 5 pill formulas. Since ancient times, there had always been some monsters who could suddenly rise in a certain field. Modifying a pill formula on the spot might be beyond common sense for mortals, but in the elixir domain, it was not considered too heaven-defying. However, what happened next made everyone's jaws drop. It was the 20th day of the Chosen One. Another pill was born. It was still level 4, and it was still Lin Chen with 4 pills. Whether it was the spectators on the Monster Genius list, the various forces, the Elixir Domains Elders Guild, or the elders of the jury, they were all dumbfounded by him. What was he trying to do? Lin Chen seemed like he would never act according to convention. Once he got the divine pills, he continued to refine them. Look, there's still embryonic pills there. At this time, the elders of the jury finally noticed something strange. Under the cooperation of Lin Chen's main body and 2 clones, a well-hidden embryonic energy pill was slowly forming. As for his other 4 clones, they continued to refine other medicinal pills. This strange scene caused everyone to be puzzled. However, this suspicion was quickly washed away by the exciting event. On the 26th day, pill clouds appeared. Rays of saint light shot into the sky and condensed into saint rings. The divine pills were born. 3 saint rings for saint rings. It was Shangwan Lu Li, Chi Mei Er, and Fei Xiaoyu. Fei Xiaoyu had improved by leaps and bounds after Lin Shun helped her control her innate fiend physique. She had improved the most. At their age, they were able to refine divine pills of such quality. Their future was limitless. Following that, 2 more monster genius list geniuses produced pills. Both of them had 4 saint rings, level 4 saint pills. Hee, so young. You are quite capable. However, this old man is not so old that he can be easily surpassed by young people. A chuckle echoed. The blue-robed elder, sitting in the middle of the square, stood up and slapped his cauldron. Rumble. With a rumble, the sky split open with a python-like rosy glow, which then dissipated into a rosy cloud. The eyes of the many experts on Sky-Bearing Island burned with desire. Sky-Bearing City was filled with excited shouts. It had finally begun. When the cauldron was opened, it was time to witness the 100 clans compete. The Saint Alchemy Grandmasters from the 36 regions welcomed a direct confrontation. Chapter 1290. The elder in green pushed the cauldron with his palm, and a beam of holy light shot into the sky like a heavenly dragon. It burst into the sky and emitted a green brilliance. As the holy light shrouded the sky, the elixir aura transformed into a spiritual cat with 4 intense holy rings. Its 4th holy ring was much brighter than Fei Xiaoyu's and the other 2 monsters. A mid-grade, 4th grade divine elixir. Old man, your skills haven't deteriorated, right? No matter what, you have to count this old man in. You only dare to refine a mid-grade, 4th grade divine elixir this time. You don't have the guts anymore, right? When the 2 elders laughed, another 2 beams of elixir aura shot into the sky. When the elixir aura was condensed, there were also 4 holy rings. 2 high-grade, 4th grade divine elixirs. You 2 old fogies, you really dare to gamble. The elder in green laughed. It was extremely difficult to refine a high-grade, 4th grade divine elixir. In such a high-standard competition like the Heaven's Choice Convention, most of the veteran Saint Alchemists would only refine the most stable grade. There weren't many people who dared to challenge their limits in such a competition. Since all the seniors are so excited, I can't miss it. In the square, the dignified Long Yishuan stood up, and a hint of confidence appeared on his pale face. Rise! He slapped the cauldron, and another beam of elixir aura shot into the sky. The radiance of the elixir aura could be clearly seen from 100,000 miles away. Then, 4 holy rings appeared one after another. It was another high-grade, 4th grade divine elixir. Long Yishuan really hides his skills well. A red-haired young man whistled in the pavilion filled with the 12 prodigies on the monster rankings. A high-grade 4th grade divine elixir. This guy can cultivate such insane alchemy skills while his sword skills are so strong. He's really a monster. Facing the high-grade 4th grade divine elixir, all the veteran elites were shocked. They didn't expect this junior to be so strong that he could be on par with them in alchemy. The strength of the monster rankings was getting more and more terrifying with each session. Walala! The holy light shone again, and another 7 divine elixirs were born. All of them were 4th grade divine elixirs. They were the other 7 veteran Saint Alchemists. However, his avatar didn't surpass Long Yishuan's. The atmosphere of the scene was instantly ignited. Looking at the layers of holy light pill rings in the air, this was the realm that countless alchemists dreamed of. TSK. Bang! A thunderclap exploded. At this moment, a terrifying aura swept through the white jade square. The entire Sky-Bearing Island emitted a strong, holy light. Come out my greatest masterpiece. The dragon ritual crystal was bathed in lightning. As he laughed maniacally, he stood up and opened his arms wide. The sharpness between his eyebrows increased dramatically. His long robes fluttered in the wind. Behind him, countless thunder dragons roared angrily. The moment his alchemy hand seals stopped, tens of thousands of thunderbolts fell silent. In a split second, the entire sky was filled with dancing lightning and silver snakes. A terrifying pressure of thunder and lightning descended from the sky, causing the space to tremble. A bolt of lightning shot out from the pill furnace of the dragon ritual crystal, shooting straight to the 9 heavens. Bang! Bang! The lightning exploded, and there was a series of crackling sounds. An azure sacred pill floated out from the lightning. Its entire body was surrounded by boundless lightning, and its spirituality condensed into a lightning snake. It danced in the sky, looking very lifelike. The lightning snake was surrounded by 4 holy rings that flashed with lightning. There was even a faint 5th holy ring that was faintly discernible. It was a peak grade 4 holy pill. It was only 1 step away from a grade 5 holy pill. The dragon ritual crystal had performed exceptionally. This holy pill caused the expressions of many veteran saint alchemists to change slightly. They instantly suppressed the entire scene. In the past Heaven's Choice conferences, there were few juniors who could refine a peak grade 4 holy pill. There were very few cases. Qingwu, do you see? I, dragon ritual crystal, am the one destined for you. The high-spirited dragon ritual crystal instantly turned to look at the little demon empress. The corners of his mouth curled up. He was arrogant and handsome, causing many women below sky-bearing city to scream. The little demon empress frowned slightly, but she didn't say anything. With his age and cultivation, being able to refine a peak grade 4 holy pill was extremely rare even on the monster genius list. That's too amazing. Long Yishuan couldn't help but click his tongue. He was very clear that a grade 4 holy pill was like an expanse point saint. Every time it increased in rank, the difficulty would at least double. At least he, Long Yishuan, had no more than a 20% chance of refining a peak grade 4 holy pill. He didn't dare to gamble on such a low probability and waste so many resources in such a grand event. Long Yijing arrogantly raised his chin and looked down at Lin Shan with a hint of mockery. This time, he had already won the bet between him and Lin Shan. He couldn't wait to see Lin Shan's miserable appearance after being defeated. He even dared to say that he wanted to give the little demon empress a surprise. Shameless boasting. Peak grade 4? It's not that bad. Lin Shan laughed casually in his heart. His gaze didn't change as he stared at the embryonic pill. He couldn't be bothered to argue with this loser. Young people these days really don't know how high the sky is. Dongfang Wuji sneered disdainfully. The mental energy gathered in his palm changed again, and his hand seals suddenly changed. Zi Yunqing's beautiful eyes focused on her pill furnace. She didn't care about Long Yijing's phenomenon at all. Once Long Yijing's peak grade 4 holy pill was produced, many experienced saint-grade alchemists couldn't compare. Finally, it was the 30th day. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Auspicious auras filled the air as floating lotuses. 999 streaks of auspicious auras filled the sky. 999 streaks of red clouds gathered like clouds. 3 pairs of golden boys and jade girls beat gongs and drums and appeared in the sky at the same time. These 6 people were formed by the holy pill. It's the sword region's profound gold 3 elders. What a powerful aura. The medicinal pills they concocted have the same effect, even though they are different methods. As the experts of the various ranks 6 forces exclaimed, the phenomenon suddenly changed. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The 3 pairs of golden boys and jade girls started to give birth to holy rings. They directly broke through to the 4th ring. And it didn't stop. Crack! With a crisp sound, a faint 5th holy ring appeared. Although it wasn't as bright as the first 4, it was still more complete than Long Yijing's. The 3 pairs of golden boys and jade girls had 5 holy rings around their bodies. Holy light shone for millions of feet, illuminating the sky. It was as if an ancient Holy Spirit had descended. Sky-bearing city instantly exploded. Grade 5. A grade 5 holy pill is too powerful. 3 grade 5 holy pills appeared at the same time. What a terrifying energy wave. The energy of a grade 5 holy pill is several times stronger than the holy power stored in my holy points. Whether it was outside sky-bearing city or inside the city, a wave of excitement swept through. The 3 elders with twin faces were in high spirits. Their sharpness was restrained as they stood proudly in the sky. It was as if this was just the prelude to a storm. One wave after another. On the east side of the white jade square, a youth stepped into the air. It's been so many years. I haven't used all my strength to refine pills like this. His left I was filled with gentleness, and his right I was mesmerizing. His eyebrows were filled with the vicissitudes of life, and his eyes were full of smiles. It's that old guy. The elders of the jury finally revealed a dignified expression. Xuanyu's Cloud and Rain Palace, Senior Wan Yunyu. Those on the monster genius list stared at the youth cauldron with serious expressions. He flicked his finger, and a beam of pill chi shot into the sky when the cauldron was activated. Rumble. The pill glow stirred the clouds and turned into a 10,000-foot pill cloud. A serpent covered in mist appeared out of nowhere. It was a serpent formed by the spirituality of a holy pill. The serpent breathed and turned into a holy ring. At this moment, light shone brightly. The light of the serpent spread across the sky and wrapped around the serpent's body. The 5 holy rings shone brightly. In the elder group, the hunchbacked elder's eyes shone brightly. A middle grade 5 holy pill. The entire crowd entered a short period of breathless silence. In the past, a middle grade 5 holy pill would be enough to compete for the top 5. The Heavenly Selection Convention was entering its final climax. Chapter 1291. A middle grade, 5th grade sacred pill. This alchemy realm was close to the elders of the Dan Region Elder Council. Even if it wasn't as good, it wasn't far off. As expected of Xuanyu's Wan Yunyu, "You've really opened my eyes," the beautiful woman giggled. She wore a jade green dress and was like a butterfly in a flower valley, hazy and illusory. "I've reserved one of the top 10 spots this time." The beautiful woman smiled and tapped the pill furnace with her fingertip. She lifted the lid, and a jade green light shone between heaven and earth. Rays of jade green light flew out of the pill furnace and danced in the sky. The pill glowed, danced, and its power rose, condensing into a large jade green pill cloud that released a terrifying sacred aura. Ordinary aperture expansion realm cultivators could even smell a trace of danger. A faint fox shadow extended from the jade green pill cloud. A jade fox appeared, its spirituality otherworldly. It actually knelt down and worshipped the beautiful woman in the sky. It's the 1,000 Regions Hua Manlu flying sacred pill. What a great saint pill with sufficient spirituality. The elders of the jury couldn't help but exclaim. To recognize a master at the beginning, this pill was at least 5th grade. Finally, the dense core chi around the jade fox's body began to gather, from 1 to 4 in one go. At the 5th ring, the light wandered for a while before disappearing. Another middle grade, 5th grade sacred pill. So powerful, Fei Xiaoyu and Shangguan Liuli exclaimed. Moreover, just from the appearance of its spirituality, it was slightly better than Wan Yunyu's. But the specific ranking would have to wait for Song Ilian and the elders of the jury to decide. Ha ha ha. This is what the Heaven's Choice Convention should be like. Looks like this old man can't fall behind. Since everyone is so interested, this old man will naturally accompany them to the end. 1,000 Regions, old man Hua laughed. With a twist of his palm, the pill furnace's temperature rose. Heat waves swept in all directions, making people's mouths dry and sweaty. Even the saints felt a wave of heat. A beam of fire swept up the sky. The red pill cloud condensed into a fire lion full of spirituality. It was extremely powerful, and its sacred rings broke through the 5th ring. The 5th ring wasn't inferior to the first. It was another middle grade, 5th grade sacred pill. Sky-bearing city instantly exploded. Rank 5, another rank 5. It was too powerful. These super holy pills were usually priceless. There were very few chances to see them in high-level auctions. But today, so many 5th grade holy pills had appeared one after another. This old man's luck is not bad. Come and fight for the championship with everyone. The inconspicuous gray-robed old man flicked his sleeve and chuckled with the demeanor of a transcendent being. 10,000 spiritual palms appear behind him. When he activated the alchemy furnace, a green light illuminated the 9 heavens. The green light illuminated the void, and the faint green light condensed into a horsetail whisk with 5 saint rings around it. Another 5th grade, mid-level divine pill had been born. It's him. The 1,000 pill, 10,000 hands. The 1,000 pill, 10,000 hands. Leader of the Grand Jing sect. The eyes of the powerhouses from the various forces sharpened. This Heaven's Choice assembly was truly filled with experts. The forces outside Sky-bearing City couldn't help but breathe heavily when they saw the layers of saint rings. Some of them even sat down cross-legged and began to cultivate on the spot. When large amounts of high-level pills were born, they would gather large amounts of spirit energy and saint power. This had the effect of adding fuel to the flames of cultivation. Saints were far more efficient at absorbing heaven and earth spirit energy than battle emperors. This Heaven's Choice assembly had endless uses and benefits for the low-level saints of the 2nd and 3rd rank sects. Inside the White Jade Plaza, "Old man, you're still as good as ever." The climax continued. A long laugh caused the sky above Sky-bearing Island to explode. The yellow river flowed as pills appeared out of nowhere. The yellow spring flowed from the sky, and a deathly silence descended. One finger the yellow spring Tao life and death, one pill heart Tao soul. Under the yellow spring, an old man in sackcloth stroked his beard and smiled. One finger the yellow spring of the yellow spring hall, Xiao Huang. The prodigies of the monster genius ranking exclaimed. The energy of this holy pill surged and condensed into 5 more saint rings that illuminated the world. 4 5th grade mid-level and 3 5th grade early-level divine pills shone like stars, illuminating all of Sky-bearing Island and Sky-bearing City. This scene caused countless alchemists to bow down in worship. It was like a saint had descended, and tens of thousands of masters bowed down. It wasn't over yet. A ripple of energy comparable to a 5th grade divine pill came from the corner of the White Jade Plaza. The youth had his hands behind his back. The 7 of them were as straight as spears, their eyes sharp and unstoppable. It was Lin Shun. His embryonic pill gave off energy comparable to a 5th grade embryonic pill. He's refining a 5th grade divine pill. My God, is he going to surpass all the grandmasters? The alchemy prodigies in Sky-bearing City, who were staring at the screen of light, exclaimed in shock. What kind of joke is this? He can refine a 5th grade divine pill? Long Yi Jing's eyes bulged, and his expression was extremely ugly. However, in the next moment, he suddenly laughed madly. Ha! Lin Shun, you don't have time. So what if you're a 5th grade divine pill? You're still an embryonic pill. There are less than 14 hours left until the conference. You're doomed. Lin Shun ignored Long Yi Jing's wild laughter. His gaze was fixed on the embryonic pill in the sky. Extreme excitement and heat flashed through his eyes. Almost there, almost there. Just as Lin Shun was chanting in his mind, a phoenix cry came, and the wind and clouds in the sky suddenly changed. Lin Shun, you can barely be considered a match for this princess, but it's too late. It was purple cloud green. She stood on the true phoenix cherry tree. Red cherry blossoms adorned her feathers and made her appear proud and otherworldly. She wore a purple dress and a phoenix crown. At this moment, she was like a phoenix looking down on the world. The beauty waved her sleeves. Purple-red phoenix flames covered the sky and erupted from the cauldron. A medicinal pill charged out of the cauldron and into the sky. All the anomalies in the world were reduced to mere foils. Within the intense, purplish-red Dan haze, a true phoenix was born. The true phoenix had 5 holy rings around it. The light of the 5th holy ring was more than twice as bright as the other 5th-grade divine pills. The experts from the various forces stood up abruptly. They were dumbfounded, and their faces were filled with shock. The elders of the jury sucked in cold air. A high-grade 5th-grade divine pill. This princess from an ancient holy empire had suppressed all the old and new alchemists present. This girl is a peerless genius in alchemy. She will definitely be the leader of the elixir region in the future. Song Ilian's simple words thoroughly evaluated Z Cloud Green. In the Heaven's Chosen Convention, there were very few young alchemists who could enter the top 10. The first 3 were all extremely representative veteran alchemists. Now, history was being rewritten. Z Cloud Green had surpassed all the alchemists present with her own strength. It's true that each new generation excels the previous one. Each generation is stronger than the previous one. If this old man were to refine a medicinal pill of this grade, the success rate would probably be less than 10%. Zi Yanqing, what a devilishly talented girl. Many experts of the 6th grade families were amazed. Those on the Demon Genius list all stared at Z Cloud Green with serious expressions. This girl would definitely be a strong competitor on the Demon Genius list in the future. Z Cloud Green stood in the air. There was no arrogance in her eyes. On the contrary, she seemed to take it for granted. First place? First place again. Is there no one in the elixir region who can surpass me? Forget it. Next, I'll set my goal as first place in the elixir region's Elder Council. As Z Cloud Green was feeling lonely, a hoarse young man's voice spread throughout sky-bearing island. Little girl, why are you acting like you're alone? You're so young. You don't know what true invincibility is. Let this king show you what alchemy is. The young man raised his palm. The 3 dragon corpses came to life and showed signs of coming back from the dead. At this moment, the elders of the jury were shocked. Me? Chapter 1292. This king? Who in this world dared to call themselves this king? Not even a 9th Firmament Saint or a 9th Revolution Saint had the right to do so. This self-proclamation made the elders of the jury feel an inexplicable fear. There were people who had been fortunate enough to see a real Saint King. That kind of existence could overturn heaven and earth and destroy thousands of existential planes with a wave of their hand. The 3 dragon corpses throbbed, and dragon scales, dragon skin, and dragon tendons miraculously grew. Their skin and flesh began to recover, and their flesh and blood began to condense. This scene was strange and eerie. Even powerful alchemy giants like 6th grade forces and 7th grade sects also felt a sense of physical revulsion. The dragon corpses regained their vitality. Everyone felt their scalps tingle at the sight of the dragon corpses' vitality becoming stronger and stronger. Just as everyone was on guard against the resurrection of the 3 primordial dragon corpses, a heart-wrenching dragon roar stopped this strange scene abruptly. The dragon corpse's resurrection energy actually spat out a breath of colorful dragon aura, which went into the pill in the void. Finally, Song Ilian's expression changed slightly. He used the dragon corpses to refine pills. While refining the embryonic pills, he consumed a lot of herbs and sacred power to assimilate the embryonic pills and the dragon corpse's vitality energy. Then, he used the massive amount of vitality energy that erupted when the embryonic pills were formed to allow the dragon corpses to obtain the energy to forcefully change fate and attempt resurrection. At the moment of resurrection, he cut off the dragon corpse's vitality and infused the pure dragon aura produced during the moment of resurrection into the embryonic pills to complete the refinement of the sacred pills. What a brilliant technique! What profound alchemy skills! Song Ilian was moved. While refining the embryonic pills, he assimilated the dragon corpse's aura with the dragon corpses that were in suspended animation. Then, he used the energy during the refinement to forcefully resurrect the dragon corpses and infuse the pure dragon aura obtained during the moment of resurrection into the pills to further refine the finished pills. This was not an alchemy technique that mortals could think of at all. If Song Ilyan were to refine pills by herself, the success rate of using this technique would not exceed 50%. Of course, the technique and the final pill grade were two different things. Roar! Roar! The three dragon corpses went from death to life, and from life to death again in just a short moment. They had gone through a cycle of reincarnation. The dragon's breath surged wildly and continuously condensed into the core. In an instant, the winds and clouds in the sky changed abruptly. Within the massive purplish-black pill glow, streaks of dragon chi were born and crisscrossed the void. It was as if a demonic dragon had appeared and covered the sky, its demonic might suppressing all directions. The many experts present felt as if their hearts were being squeezed by an invisible hand. They instinctively revealed a deep sense of fear and dread, as if some peerless, ferocious creature was about to emerge from the layer of red clouds. All of the holy core phenomenon present were suppressed to the point of dimming. Within the red glow, a purplish-black elixir transformed into the breath of a demonic dragon. Its entire body was surrounded by waves of dragon chi. Finally, it condensed into 5 holy rings. Rank 5, another 5th-grade medicinal pill. However, the pupils of all the experts trembled. The light of the 5th saint ring was even brighter than that of Zi Yunqing's saint elixir. Finally, when the 6th saint ring was about to appear, it stopped. The elders of the jury all stood up. Peak rank 5. It was a purple cloud green that far surpassed the high-grade 5th stage. This kind of foundation in alchemy was not inferior to some of the elders of the Pill region's Elder Council. One had to know that those who could enter the Elder Council were all top alchemy geniuses and reclusive old monsters selected from the 36 regions. They had also experienced the tempering of the previous Heaven's Choice conferences to reach this height. Who exactly was this person? Was this really a level that a young genius could achieve? Zi Yunqing was a little dazed, her beautiful eyes filled with shock. She had actually lost? The entire sky-bearing city instantly exploded. Guesses and curiosity about this Dongfeng Wuji's identity were ignited. In a short 15 minutes, the champion of the Heaven's Choice Conference had changed hands several times. Little girl, this king's mental consciousness is just playing with you. No need to show such an expression. Your talent is only SOSO compared to this king's in the past. Dongfeng Wuji patted the dust off his shoulder and smiled coldly. When he looked at Zi Yunqing, the corners of his mouth were full of disdain and arrogance. "Sir, who are you?" Song Ilyan slowly stood up, her eyes filled with a sky-tearing mental power as she questioned in a cold voice. He had repeatedly called himself a king, and his methods were profound. This was not something a young person could do. This king's name is not something a junior like you is worthy of knowing. This king's title, Clear Sky. When Dongfeng Wuji announced his name, the entire audience fell into a strange silence. Clear Sky? Could it be? The eyes of the elders of the jury shook. This name was known by everyone in the sacred boundary. Every saint king was a supreme existence that led an era in the sacred boundary. No peak saint could compare to a saint king. "You are the Clear Sky, Saint King?" Song Ilyan was stunned. This legendary figure had personally come to their Pill region. "Junior, your talent is not bad. This king doesn't care about other mortals. This king will give you a chance. Follow this king and become this king's servant. You will have the chance to peek into a higher realm in the alchemy world. The one in front of you is only a thread of this king's mental consciousness." Dongfeng Wuji put his hands behind his back and spoke slowly. There was a kind of arrogance between his brows. This was the majesty of a saint king. Once this was said, all the experts on Atlas Island were stunned. The clear sky Saint King was recruiting Song Ilian. Ziyun's face lost all color, and her pretty face turned pale. He was actually a Saint King. Even if it was just a thread of his mental consciousness, it was still an existence that ruled the world and stood at the peak of a saint. How domineering and bold. He actually said that he wanted to recruit the most outstanding alchemist in the Pill region. He didn't care about other alchemists at all. Song Ilian's expression changed. According to the rules, the clear sky Saint King didn't break the rules. Any alchemist could participate in the Heaven's Choice meeting, regardless of qualifications and status. Junior, this king will give you 3 days to consider. The clear sky Saint King smirked at Song Ilian. Then he grabbed his peak grade 5 divine pill. The experts present were shocked and sighed. Losing to a Saint King was completely natural. This time, the champion will definitely be the clear sky Saint King. He's too strong. I didn't think that I would be lucky enough to see a Saint King in my life. But isn't this too much of a bully? Isn't the Saint King coming to participate in this competition the same as trampling on our generation of alchemists? All the alchemists present felt bitter. It was too difficult. Who could defeat a Saint King? Even a thread of his mental consciousness wasn't something they could compete with. And you, kid. The clear sky Saint King looked down at Lin Shun from above. Lin Shun, the embryonic pill you refined, is probably a tier 5 advanced pill, right? The clear sky Saint King smiled evilly. Once this was said, the experts were shocked. Ziyun's eyes shone with a touch of light as she stared at Lin Shun. He actually refined a pill of the same grade as her. Ha ha ha! Under everyone's gaze, Lin Shun put his hands behind his back and laughed loudly. What close call, clear sky Saint King. Have you forgotten who was the one who danced on your grave? The corners of Lin Shun's mouth curled up, overflowing with arrogance. Next, it's my turn to give you a big gift. Have a taste of your brother Chen's eyes to refine pills to another level. Chapter 1293. When the Saint King pointed it out, everyone knew that this kid's talent in alchemy was on the same level as Zi Yunxing. He came this time to stop Lin Shun. This kid was so monstrous that even he, the Saint King, felt threatened. He was the one who valued Lin Shun the most among all the experts present. He came this time to stop him from becoming the champion. However, when they heard his laughter, everyone's scalp exploded. Even higher level, all the elders of Purple Cloud King Valley stood up subconsciously. The little demon empress clenched her fists. It's coming, it's coming. Long Yi Jing's eyes trembled. Could it be that the refining of the 6 doppelgangers was still not his full strength? At this moment, everyone who could not see through the grade of the embryonic pill that Lin Shun was refining seemed to have been covered up by him with a strange method. However, looking at the energy fluctuation, it was not inferior to the 5th grade. Even higher level? What a joke. Do you think you can surpass me? You can't even refine a 5th grade high-level pill now. So how can you talk about even higher level? The clear sky Saint King was so angry that he laughed. Refining pills? The alchemy level that he had reached back then was enough to look down on Lin Shun 18 times over, wanting to counterattack in front of him. The Saint King of his generation? Lin Shun did not have this qualification. Then let's try. Lin Shun and all the doppelgangers focused their eyes. Their spiritual energy soared to the sky, and the dazzling spiritual energy around the embryonic pill was pushed into the sky. Boom! Song Ilian's figure flashed and stood at the side of Lin Shen's plaza. Although she did not say anything, everyone understood that she wanted to prevent the clear sky Saint King from doing anything that violated the rules. The clear sky Saint King sneered, as if he did not care to attack Lin Shun. He crossed his arms in front of his chest. Behind Lin Shun were his 6 doppelgangers. They were handsome and had sword-like eyebrows. Step by step, he stepped into the air and finally stood on the same level as the clear sky Saint King. Everyone was shocked. Zi Yunxing was stunned. Could it be that he really had a backup plan? But even if he had a backup plan, it could not shake the Saint King's pill refining masterpiece. Lin Shun opened his arms, and his spiritual energy surged. At this moment, the wind blew wildly and the clouds changed. The young man's heroic shout was mixed with vast mental power and spread through all of sky-bearing city. Come! This shout seemed to have penetrated the consciousness of all the powerhouses on sky-bearing island. A shudder instantly spread through their bodies, and their blood boiled. Boom! 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 Lin Shen's 13 spiritual plants of providence danced wildly in the wind, instantly shooting out endless streams of light. Red light soared into the sky. Thousands upon thousands of meteors shot towards the sky like auroras. 10,000 rays, sky, saint kings, every ray of light was a saint red. Tens of thousands of rays of holy light floated in the air, like a new moon that was overflowing with light and color. They were like dazzling stars that would never change. As they floated in the void, the dazzling brilliance of the nine-colored pill illuminated the young man's peerless spirit, like a god descending to the mortal world. Heavens, my God, 10,000 divine elixir pills. What? All the elders in the jury felt their scalps go numb. The various forces and experts of Sky-bearing Island were dumbfounded. It was simply unbelievable. Even a normal person almost fainted from fright, much less the top alchemists. 10,000 saint pills floated in the sky. The young man, who was enshrouded in nine-colored divine light, smiled faintly. He was like an immortal who had descended to the mortal world. His demeanor was peerless. Explode. His gaze instantly swept across the area. Bam! 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 Saint pills exploded in Lin Chen's sight. A series of saint pills fell like flowers from the sky, fluttering about and exploding. Boom! Waves of earth-shattering energy swept through the sky, covering all of Sky-bearing Island and spreading outside the island. Boundless nine-colored brilliance spread towards the ends of the world, exploding continuously. Streaks of auroras exploded one after another, and colorful mushroom clouds of energy bloomed in the sky. It was like the most beautiful fireworks in the world were blooming at this moment. The world shook and space trembled. Outside Sky-bearing City, one could clearly see this dazzling scene from hundreds of thousands of miles away. This what happened at the Heavenly Choice Conference. Experts are fighting? No, this energy is so pure. This seems to be the smell of Saint Pills exploding? Impossible. Who the F *CK would explode Saint Pills? Is there something wrong with that person? How many would it take to cover the sky? At this very moment, the distant horizon was completely covered by the brilliance of the nine-colored pill radiance. It was magnificent and extremely beautiful. As far as the eye could see, there was only the nine-colored aurora left between the heavens and the earth. All the experts of Sky-bearing Island gaped. The people below Sky-bearing City were even more dumbfounded. Everyone was dumbfounded. Even Clear Sky Saint King was no exception, exploding 10,000 pills with one look. How could there be such a crazy action in the world? How could there be such a scene in the world? This was the light of 10,000 saint pills exploding. It was suffocatingly beautiful. The moment when everyone was dumbfounded was the moment when Lin Shen was incomparably focused. Now, condense. All of Lin Shen's avatars entered their best state, and his mind power was pushed to the limit. Like the blooming Saint Pills, his mind power was like a galaxy that stretched across the sky above Sky-bearing Island. All of the blooming Saint Pills energy was quickly extracted according to Lin Shen's will and order. Streaks of dazzling, nine-colored pill radiance were extracted and refined into his longan-sized embryonic pill. The nine-colored light was compressed layer by layer, and the embryonic pill's energy rose at a visible rate. The first to notice this drastic change were the elders of the jury and Song Ilian. Then the alchemists with high mind power present all stared in shock at Lin Shen. He was extracting the energy of 10,000 Saint Pills explosion to refine pills. How is this possible? Too freakish. How can this youth have such a crazy method of refining pills in the world? The elders of the jury lost their composure. Using the energy of a finished saint pill to refine pills? This was fundamentally impossible. The energy of a finished saint pill was indeed the essence, but it was almost impossible to refine it a second time. Every saint pill's refinement was done with countless strict and meticulous combinations and selections. The energy after they were formed was extremely complex. Unless one knew the saint pill's recipe like the back of their hand and reached the realm of perfection, it was impossible to extract part of the saint pill's energy. But to refine pills, it was extremely difficult, not to mention refining 10,000 at the same time. This idea was not just crazy, it was insane. No one dared to think about it, and no one could do it. He actually has such a method. Ziyinqing stood there in a daze. When all the monstrous geniuses gazed at the 9-colored radiance that covered the heavens and the earth, they couldn't help but recall what Lin Shun had said that day. A surprise was an explosion. An explosion was an art. The little demon empress covered her mouth. So, this was the surprise he was talking about? Seeing that Lin Chen's embryonic pill's energy was rapidly transforming, Song Ilian's eyes lit up like never before. There is actually such an alchemist in this world. Chapter 1294. The explosions of the Saint Pills continued, shaking Sky Pillar Island's spatial barrier to the brink of collapse. The massive 9-colored pill radiance spun into an energy vortex that was tens of thousands of feet long. From afar, it looked like a beautiful 9-colored disk that was slowly spinning. At the center of the vortex was Lin Chen's embryonic pill. The energy fluctuations of his embryonic pill were 10 times more violent than before. It could not be stopped at all. It had undergone a metamorphosis that was several grades higher than before. Lin Chen's eyes flickered dozens of times in succession. The order and quantity of all the energy entering his pill did not exceed his expectations at all. Lin Chen's mental energy was extremely fast. Almost instantly, he grabbed hundreds of energy streams and absorbed them into his embryonic pill. His mental energy that was as vast as the Milky Way in the Milky Way was rapidly drying up at this moment. Host is continuously activating the illusory rune, consuming 8,000 rune energy. Consuming 5,000 rune energy, the mental energy consumption of the doppelganger was even more terrifying. It was as if the doppelganger's mental energy had been emptied in just a few dozen breaths. The amount of mental energy required to control the energy of 10,000 Saint Pills explosions and refine them according to the order he wanted was simply off the charts. If Lin Chen's mental energy had not advanced to the Mastery Saint rudiment stage, it would have been impossible for him to try out his original pill explosion style. The energy in Lin Chen's embryonic pill skyrocketed. It was on a completely different level from when it was first born. Many Saint-grade alchemists and powerhouses could not help but gulp as they asked Song Ilian with great difficulty. Senior Song Ilian, Lin Shun. What is he? The energy in his embryonic pill hasn't even been completed, but it's already surpassing the peak of the 5th grade. Even the elders of the jury were shocked and felt their scalps go numb. Everyone had underestimated his ambition. This child's goal was unimaginably terrifying. Faced with the many experts' quivering questions, Song Ilian answered resolutely and decisively. You guys didn't guess wrong. What he wants to refine is a genuine 6th-grade medicinal pill. As soon as she said this, the corners of the monstrous geniuses and powerhouses from various forces trembled violently. A 6th-grade pill? The higher the grade of the holy pill, the harder it was to raise each grade. The most direct example was that if one wanted to refine a peak grade 5 sacred pill, one would need to perform billions of steps within tens of thousands of herbs. Then, to concoct a 6th-grade medicinal pill, he would need to go through tens of billions of steps. Rank 5 and rank 6 were not on the same level at all. The difference in difficulty was not as simple as 10 times. The more steps one needed to prepare, the more difficult it would be to refine the medicine in the later stages. Even among the pill region's elders present, there were no more than 5 people who could refine Tier 6 sacred pills, and the success rate was extremely low. Among the upper echelons of the pill domain present, only Song Ilian dared to guarantee the success rate of a grade 6 sacred pill. From this, it could be seen how difficult it was to refine a grade 6 saint pill. This Lin Shun actually dared to challenge a 6th rank right off the bat. Since ancient times, there had never been a precedent in the Heavenly Selection Assembly. But Senior Song Ilian, he's controlling so much violent energy to refine a grade 6 sacred pill. It's impossible for him to succeed. A genius on the monster ranking could not help but ask in fear. Not necessarily. Song Ilian's gaze was fixed on Lin Shun, unwilling to leave Lin Shun for even a second as she spoke seriously. The difficulty of refining a grade 6 sacred pill is mainly in the second half. When the pill is refined into a grade 6 pill, the energy required to transform the embryonic pill into a complete pill is even greater. It often requires a lot of heaven and earth energy to complete. There was once an alchemist who refined a grade 6 embryonic pill. When it first formed, it swallowed thousands of miles of spirit chi, causing the entire area to become barren and the spirit chi to dry up. It took 100 years for it to recover to its original state. But Lin Shin chose the craziest and most unbelievable method. He detonated the 10,000 pills and created a condition for the embryonic pill to swallow the energy. With his understanding of the energy composition of the 10,000 exploded divine elixir pills, he was able to quickly extract and refine the divine elixir pills into the embryonic pills according to what he wanted. He directly skipped the most difficult step of transforming a 6th grade divine elixir pill from an embryonic pill to a complete pill. Song Ilian was indeed worthy of being a modern alchemist. She instantly analyzed the meaning of Lin Chen's actions. That's right, the hunchbacked old man said solemnly, revealing a rare look of shock. Looking at all the participants of the Heaven's Choice Convention, including all the previous sessions, no alchemist has been able to refine a grade 6 sacred pill. Strictly speaking, Lin Shun can't do it either. From an ordinary alchemist's point of view, even if he has 6 clones that are comparable to his original body, it's almost impossible for him to refine a grade 6 sacred pill. But now, he's using the pills as medicine and refining pills. With the energy of 10,000 sacred pills, he skipped the most difficult part of refining a grade 6 embryonic pill and directly ascended from a peak grade 5 embryonic pill to a grade 6 sacred pill. This analysis made the superpowers on the monster genius list and grade 6 and grade 7 forces feel their scalps tingle. Refining pills with pills? There is such a method? This alchemy method was simply beyond the level of knowledge. Transforming a grade 5 embryonic pill directly into a grade 6 sacred pill? Such a crazy alchemy method was simply impossible for ordinary people to think of and impossible to achieve. To refine 10,000 sacred pills, all of them had to come from a pill formula that the alchemist was extremely familiar with, and the alchemist had to have a perfect grasp of the energy structure of the sacred pill. It wasn't easy to use this method just by buying 10,000 sacred pills. Otherwise, one wouldn't even know how to spell the word death. Moreover, it required a huge and heaven-defying amount of mental strength. According to their understanding of the sacred pills, the energy produced by the explosion of the sacred pill required an extremely fast mental reaction to absorb this ready-made energy. Not to mention the massive amount of mental strength required to maintain this alchemy process. After a little closer inspection, everyone seemed to have awakened from a dream. So that's it. Why did Lin Chun crazily refine sacred pills before the Heaven's Choice Convention? It was all for this moment. Is he really human? Would a god like Lin Chun from the monster genius list? I'm sincerely convinced. This young man isn't just challenging a grade 6 sacred pill. He's completely creating a new era in the alchemy world. It's difficult to describe 1/10,000th of his brilliance as a monster. Perhaps it's more appropriate to call him a genius. In this world, how could anyone dare to try such a method that defies common sense? At this moment, whether it was Li Daoran from Qiandan Wanshou, Fei Liansheng from Huamanlu, Old Man Hua from Qianyu, Xiao Huang from Huang region, Wan Yinyu from Xuanyu, etc. All of the veteran saint-level alchemists who were like Mount Tai and Big Dipper had all conceded defeat, refining pills with his gaze, refining pills with his pill. This young man's genius talent had completely convinced them. Regardless of whether Lin Shun succeeded in the end, at this moment, this group of proud alchemy masters were willing to call Lin Chen the strongest in the Heaven's Choice Convention. Chapter 1295. Even though the sky-bearing island was on the verge of collapsing due to the explosion, the other alchemists were in an indestructible spatial barrier. However, no matter who formed the pill, its power was less than 1% of Lin Chen's. It was completely overshadowed. The alchemist who produced the pill couldn't help but smile bitterly. Participating in the same Heaven's Choice Convention as this monster, even if they lost, they would lose convincingly. However, the energy of the embryonic pill was as terrifying as a small star core. It had already surpassed the 5th grade. Suddenly, a trembling energy fluctuation appeared in the 9-color vortex. The elders of the jury were shocked. Not good. His spiritual power is unstable. Lin Chen's spiritual power is about to be exhausted. The hunchbacked elder exclaimed. Lin Chen's lips curled up, and his fingertips formed a seal. Behind Lin Chen, an illusory image that seemed to cover the heavens and earth suddenly rose up. The virtual image was 10,000 feet tall. It was half-human with a blue cape on its shoulders and a helmet on its head, hiding its true appearance. A pair of orange eyes flickered under the helmet. The virtual image attached itself to Lin Chen, and it was like an ancient god had descended. The virtual image put its palms together, and Lin Chen's body shone with an orange light. Lin Chen's control of the energy of the 10,000 pills instantly skyrocketed. Host has activated the orange grade innate skill, Supreme God Possession. 800,000 talent points have been consumed. Host's True Dragon's Sacred Hand Alchemy Imprint has obtained the Supreme God Possession type. It has an extreme mutation effect. At this moment, Lin Chen's True Dragon's Sacred Hand, which was activated by his spiritual power, broke through the shackles and temporarily surpassed the limit. It displayed the effect of an orange-grade alchemy imprint. Roar, roar, roar. Streaks of true dragon chi bloomed from Lin Chen's main body and all his doppelgangers. They appeared out of thin air, and the wind and clouds in the sky changed directions. What kind of move is this? Look, the pill has been formed. Before the first wave subsided, another wave arose. Everyone kept exclaiming in shock. The wind and clouds above the sky-bearing island changed. The energy of 10,000 divine elixir pills had just finished exploding. The vortex disappeared, and all the energy was absorbed into a fiery red pill. The spirit aura of the fiery red pill turned into a human-shaped shadow. That appearance was somewhat similar to the supreme god that appeared behind Lin Shun. Spirit aura took form, and the saint ring appeared. 1, 3, 5. 5 saint rings were instantly formed. Whether it was sky-bearing island or sky-bearing city, everyone subconsciously held their breaths in fear of missing a single detail. Buzz! The energy vibrated violently, and the 6th holy halo began to form. Many experts and monstrous geniuses felt their hearts skip a beat, and their hearts trembled. Time seemed to have stopped. Finally, the white gold 6 saint ring was perfectly formed. Low-grade 6 saint pill. All of Sky-bearing Island and Sky-bearing City fell into a short silence. Everyone stared blankly at the young man in the sky. As the energy of the divine elixir pills slowly dissipated, A faint nine-colored light shone on the young man's body like a rainbow bridge. 6 saint rings covered his head, and he looked handsome. The young man's handsome face had a wild but not conceited smile from beginning to end. He looked like a god that had descended to the mortal world. Many experts couldn't help but sigh. There was actually such an outstanding young man in this world. Zi Yunqing stared blankly at the young man, shrouded in nine-colored light. He was dazed for a moment. He actually defeated the Clear Sky Saint King and refined a grade 6 saint pill that even a Saint King can't refine. When he knew that his opponent was the Clear Sky Saint King, he couldn't even muster up any fighting spirit, let alone challenge him. How many people had dared to fight a Saint King head-on since ancient times? This brat has such ability and talent at such a young age. If given enough time, won't he become a supreme existence in this world? The Clear Sky Saint King's veins were bulging. This time, he had come personally to stop Lin Shun from having a fortuitous encounter in the Elixir region. Entering the Elixir region's Elder Guild would allow this brat to improve by leaps and bounds, forcing the Clear Sky Saint King to take action personally. Unexpectedly, he still couldn't suppress his strength. Grade 6 Saint Pill. Even the current Clear Sky Saint King couldn't refine a Grade 6 Saint Pill. He was already a half-dead man, and his spiritual will was incomplete. It was impossible for him to support the refinement of a Grade 6 Saint Pill. Fairy Scarlet stared at Lin Chen's back. As if she had made up her mind, her gaze became gentler. Song Ilian stared at Lin Shun, as if she had discovered a new continent. This young man was too amazing. His whole body was full of secrets. She could even try to recreate or do better than the Clear Sky Sage King's alchemy methods, but she could not learn Lin Chen's pill explosion style at all. At this time, Lin Chen turned his head and looked in Zi Yunqing's direction. Under his gaze, Zi Yunqing, who had always been cold and arrogant, felt her heart skip a beat. Lin Shun smiled faintly, his demeanor dazzling as he laughed. "This is a surprise. Do you like it?" Zi Yunqing's heart suddenly tightened, and a faint blush appeared on her cold and beautiful cheeks. She actually panicked like a little girl. At this time, in the Purple Cloud King Valley's VIP seats behind Zi Yunqing, the beautiful and enchanting little demon empress gave him 2 thumbs up. She smiled happily, charming everyone as she shouted, "I like it very much. Lin Shun, you're too handsome." It wasn't until the little demon empress shouted excitedly that Zi Yunqing woke up from her daze. Her beautiful face turned pale, and her heart throbbed a few times. So, he wasn't talking to her. When Zi Yunqing raised her hand to speak, Lin Shun had already turned around and retracted his gaze. From beginning to end, he hadn't looked at her directly. Zi Yunqing bit her red lips tightly, and the stabbing pain in her heart became even more intense. Grade 6. How is this possible? Long Yijing knelt on the ground as if he had lost his soul. His eyes were dull and lifeless. Grade 6. In the entire history of the Long family, and even in the entire Long family, there were only 2 alchemists who could refine this grade. He was so much younger than himself, but he could actually refine a Grade 6 sacred pill. This meant that whether it was alchemy or cultivation, he would never be able to surpass him in this lifetime. He would forever live in his shadow, and he wouldn't even be able to touch his back. The dim hexagonal light of the 32nd sacred point in Long Yijing's body suddenly became dim and incomparably stable. It would be extremely difficult for him to break through the next sacred point. Lin Shun had already become his inner demon on the path of cultivation. Most importantly, he would never be able to get close to the goddess of his dreams in this lifetime. Long Yijing, who couldn't take such a heavy blow, raised his head and spat out a large mouthful of blood. The Long family's followers instantly panicked. "Quick, young master," Yijing spat out blood. "It might be an old injury. Young master, you can't stop taking medicine." Song Ilian retracted her gaze and immediately levitated into the air. Her slender figure looked around at the restless crowd and transmitted her voice. "There's only an hour left until the end of the Chosen One conference. All the alchemists have finished refining their pills. I hereby announce that the champion of the Chosen One Conference is Monster Ranking, Lin Shun. It wasn't until Song Ilian's announcement that the crowd finally snapped out of their daze. This was destined to be an unforgettable Chosen One Conference. Lin Shun, the eternal lord of alchemy, reigned supreme. Chapter 1296. Champion Lin Shun. Oh my god, he actually defeated all the veteran alchemists. Even the Sage Kings were suppressed by him. This year's Heaven's Choice Convention is too rare. It's unprecedented. I won't have the chance to see it again. Sky-bearing Island and Sky-bearing City erupted into unprecedented discussions and cheers. Lin Shen's title as the champion was well-deserved. No one was unconvinced. My goddess has descended to the mortal world. Long Yishuan felt as if a knife had been twisted in his heart. How could he not know that Zi Yunqing's heart had been moved at that moment? However, he accepted his defeat wholeheartedly. Just based on Lin Shen's performance just now, even he was mesmerized. Which woman wouldn't fall for him? After all, this man who could refine a grade 6 divine pill with just his gaze was too handsome. Poor Yi Jing. The geniuses on the monster rankings glanced at the unconscious Long Yi Jing and shook their heads. The agreement between him and Lin Shan was made clear at a glance. Long Yi Jing's 5-color Dragon King ginseng was priceless and could only be found by chance. However, compared to a grade 6 sage alchemist, it wasn't even worth a mention. Even a grade 7 sect wouldn't dare to offend someone who could refine grade 6 divine pills. Just one chance to refine a pill was far more valuable than the 5-color Dragon King ginseng. Lin Shan only needed to refine a pill once to create a divine pill that was more valuable than the 5-color Dragon King ginseng. Without a doubt, Long Yi Jing was completely defeated. Looking at Lin Shan in the air, the elders of the jury exclaimed. Even for the knowledgeable elders of a jury, this was the most unforgettable Heaven's Choice Convention. Who could forget the amazing scene of tens of thousands of divine pills rising into the air at the sacred boundary? Song Ilian read out the rankings of this year's Heaven's Choice Convention. First place, Lin Shan. Second place, Dongfang Wuji. Third place, Zi Yunqing. The fourth place went to Hua Manlu's Flying Refinement Saint after the evaluation of the elders of the jury. The top 5 could directly enter the Elixir Region's Elder Assembly. The top 10 could participate in the examination. However, the Alchemy Grandmasters could completely ignore the examination. It was the same as passing the examination. Becoming an Elder of the Pill Region's Elder Assembly meant that one's worth would increase exponentially. When Song Ilian announced the top 10, Lin Shan waved his hand and retrieved his grade 6 sacred pill. He stood in the air and looked at the clear sky Saint King. Sage King, if you want to mess with me next time, do it more directly. I like to be simple and violent. At most, I'll just punch you. Lin Shan purposely emphasized one punch. Clearly, the clear sky Sage King must have seen his battle god bracers in the Realm Tower that day. The meaning behind his words was very simple. If you dare to touch me, I'll give you a punch. Lin Shan was no longer the same as before. Facing the clear sky Sage King, he wouldn't be as weak and fearful as when he was the Battle Emperor. Unless his main body revived, Lin Shan could fight and run as he wished. Why would he be afraid? The clear sky Sage King's face twisted a few times. He was so angry that he laughed. Don't worry, I have plenty of chances to kill you. Lin Shan said indifferently. The enemy I killed last time said the same thing. All of the clones moved and collected the attribute light balls that were scattered in the void. Lin Shan secretly refined more than 10 long Qing fruits and was on guard against the clear sky Saint King. Although the Heaven's Choice Convention prohibited private fights, the clear sky Sage King wasn't an ordinary sage. Who knew what kind of tricks this old fox would use? Ever since he saw through the clear sky Sage King's identity, Lin Shan was on guard against him even though he was in Sky-bearing City. Lin Shan's body started to feel weak, and he felt dizzy. His doppelganger protected him without batting an eyelid. Whoosh! At this moment, Fairy Crimson appeared beside Lin Shun. The clear sky sage king narrowed his eyes. There was a rare trace of doubt in his eyes as he sized up Fairy Crimson. Don't worry. With me here, he won't dare to touch you. Fairy Crimson smiled confidently. Lin Shun couldn't help but wonder. Since when did they have such a good relationship? She was willing to offend the clear sky sage king for him? This was unrealistic. Could it be that he had surpassed that man and finally reached the realm of being the most handsome and loved by everyone? So annoying. Not only Fairy Crimson, but even Song Ilian also surrounded Lin Shun after announcing the results, afraid that something would happen to him. Right, the champion's reward. Before Lin Shun could finish speaking, his dried-up spiritual sea finally dimmed. His head fell, and he fainted. He had already reached his limit and was holding on with his last breath. Class leader, Lin Shun, Han Yiji, and the others rushed forward. Lin Shun had been unconscious for a long time, but he felt inexplicably comfortable. The back of his head seemed to be resting on a soft and bouncy treasure, which made him very comfortable. After a long time, he vaguely heard a voice. Why has he been unconscious for so long? Will he be okay? Will there be any sequelae left in the class leader? Refining a 6th grade sacred pill is a bit too much. Hearing Han Yiji's worried voice, Lin Shun opened his eyes. The first thing he saw when he opened his eyes was 2 beautiful crimson arcs that were round and full came into view. Lin Shui couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. He got up and bumped into a raging wave. What a big weapon! Who dares to do this to me? Lin Shun almost subconsciously took out his king of 10,000 dragons to protect his master. Who dares to do this to you? You're well protected now. Jian Qingcheng snorted, her voice carrying a trace of jealousy. Only then did Lin Shun realize that he was in an extremely high-class and beautifully decorated room. Han Yiji and Jian Qingcheng were beside the bed, and the people from Purple Cloud King Valley were sitting in the living room. When they heard Lin Shun's voice, they immediately stood up. Lin Shun was a little incredulous. The person sitting at the head of the bed was actually Fairy Scarlet, and just now it was her lap pillow. What happened? Lin Shun shook his head. His mind was in a mess, and he couldn't come back to his senses. Could it be that he had already done it? No way. Why didn't he have any memory or feeling? He had to do it again. Congratulations, Lin Shun. You've become a champion of Heaven's Choice. This old man really admires you from the bottom of my heart. The elders of Purple Cloud King Valley cupped their fists and smiled. The little demon empress at the side opened her cherry lips slightly, biting a long kingwo with her white teeth. Her smile was full of ridicule. Great champion, you've finally woken up. Pill Region's head Elder Song Ilian is guarding outside the door, and Crimson Hall's guest Elder Fairy Scarlet is protecting you. You're really something. Lin Shun finally remembered everything. He couldn't be bothered to joke with the little demon empress and anxiously said, "Where's my champion's reward?" Everyone was speechless. This kid usually flirted with girls, but how could he be so calm right now? There were so many beauties gathered around him, and he didn't have any thoughts at all. How could Lin Shun not be anxious? This was related to his god of war component. He could only be free if he was alive. Don't worry. The door was pushed open, and Song Ilian, wearing an elegant and noble green dress, waved the storage ring on her delicate hand. Your champion's reward is all here. No one will take it. Chapter 1297. Lin Shun took the storage ring and scanned it with his consciousness. In the storage ring, there was a scroll of alchemy handprints, a wind and fire element mid-grade odd crystal, and a mid-grade spirit plant seed of luck. The value of these prizes was heaven-defying. Just that scroll of orange-grade alchemy handprints was enough to influence the development of 6th grade sect. However, Lin Shun's focus wasn't on these. What about the 9th grade sacred or? Lin Shun was taken aback and asked. Song Ilian smiled. Of course it will be given to you, but the champion has to choose it himself. You've been in a coma recently. We can't carry you to choose, right? Lin Shun asked again, Then, does the Elders Guild's mystic realm have a metal type, ninth grade sacred ore? Song Yilyin pondered for a moment before answering. Yes, other than the light and darkness sacred ores, there are all 5 elements, but you can only choose one. The energy and volume of each sacred ore are different, and the value is also different. You have to weigh it yourself. Lin Shun heaved a sigh of relief. It was good that there was such an item. As long as he had it, his trip would be meaningful. Song Ilyin's eyes flickered with a strange light as she continued. You've been in a coma for 4 days and 4 nights. Rest up first. What about the clear sky, Holy King? Lin Shun suddenly thought of his #1 enemy and asked seriously. He left. Song Ilyin's face suddenly turned serious. He left without even receiving the reward. I think he doesn't care about our reward with his status. Maybe he came for you. That day, a mighty figure of the Pill region appeared and expressed the attitude of the Pill region. But fortunately, he seemed to have some considerations and didn't dare to make a move. If it was the Holy King at his peak, we wouldn't be able to stop him. Lin Shun, the only way to ensure your safety is to join the Elders Guild. Song Ilyin's eyes lit up when she talked about this. The Heaven's chosen champion isn't enough to intimidate the clear sky Holy King. The only way to ensure your safety is to join the Elders Guild and cultivate and research alchemy in the Pill region. If you're a member of the Elders Guild, the Pill region will protect you, and even the clear sky Holy King won't dare to touch you. Lin Shun shook his head and laughed. Forget it. Then he would have to stay in the Pill domain. Although the Pill domain was vast, and it would take him a few years to go around the Pill domain, if he really wanted to ensure his safety, he would have to stay in Elders Guild's upper echelons area. Wouldn't that lock him in here forever? Even if I join the Elder Council, I won't just sit here and wait for death. A dead Saint King, do I still need to be afraid of him? If he dares to come find me, I'll make him lose a few teeth, even if I have to risk my life. No matter what schemes he has up his sleeves, I'll just surpass him in the next few days. As Lin Shun talked and laughed, the spirit he exuded caused even the Violet Cloud King Valley to raise their eyebrows. Song Ilyin was moved. Surpassing Saint Kings. If these words were spoken by any other monster, the world would laugh at them. However, these words were spoken by Lin Shun, who had fought against a holy king. They were so convincing. That's good. If you need to buy medicinal herbs to heal your injuries, just tell the elders of the Sky-Bearing Pavilion. Remember that there will be an Elders Award ceremony in 4 days. As the champion, you can't miss it. After Song Ilyin finished speaking, she slowly left. Why do I feel that Senior Song's gaze is a little strange when he looks at the class monitor? Han, Iji muttered. The little demon empress stretched her waist, revealing her enchanting and hot figure. She jokingly said, "Who told him to use his gaze to refine pills? It's so flirtatious. I can't wait to catch him and study him. I'm just afraid that a certain handsome guy won't be able to control himself." The corner of Lin Chen's mouth twitched. When he looked at Fairy Crimson, he said, "Well, how long do you want to stay in bed?" Fairy Crimson smiled sweetly. "Young master, when you were unconscious, you kept calling me Sister Royan and Teacher Yuchi. You even hugged me and wouldn't let me go." Cough, cough, cough. Lin Chen's face turned red. He had to change this bad habit. After a brief understanding of the situation after the competition, everyone tactfully gave Lin Chun some time to recover. Lin Chun rubbed his temples. His mental strength was still in a dry and sleepy state. This alchemy was the hardest he had ever worked in his life. 99% of the 10,000 divine elixir pills he used were first-grade divine elixir pills. Lin Shun used the roaming god fruit and Old Shun's cooperation to ask the alchemists in the Realm Tower to help him refine them. No matter how heaven-defying Lin Shun was, it was impossible for him to cultivate his spiritual force and break through to the next realm within a month before the Heaven's Choice meeting. He also had to painstakingly refine pills and prepare 10,000 saint pills at the same time. There was no time at all. The temporary pill formulas for the 10,000 sacred pills were provided by Lin Shun. These pill formulas were all pills he had refined in the past, so he was very familiar with them. If it was only a first-grade sacred pill, the high-end alchemists of the Realm Tower could accurately refine it according to Lin Shen's requirements. The main explosive energy came from the fourth-grade and third-grade sacred pills that Lin Shen had personally refined. If it weren't for the roaming god fruit and the sale of the plant of providence seeds, he wouldn't have dared to squander them like this. The price of refining a sixth-grade sacred pill was enough to make a fifth-grade sect go half-bankrupt. This sixth-grade pill formula was personally engraved by Old Shen for Lin Shen. With his status, he couldn't easily give out a sixth-grade pill formula. Lin Shen could be considered to have owed Old Shen a favor. Fortunately, I have the roaming god fruit. Lin Shen's mental strength quickly recovered as he swallowed a dozen roaming god fruits. His phantom doppelganger also activated a mental cultivation method to absorb a huge amount of mental strength. Lin Shen's mental strength activated the clear snow plant pouch, and a pink light flashed. A huge holy peach of immortality floated above his palm, and the refreshing fragrance of the peach instantly filled the room. Lin Shen finished a sacred immortality peach in a few mouthfuls. His saint acupoints shone brightly, and the feeling of weakness in his body quickly gave birth to new strength and vitality. Lin Shen's 22nd saint acupoint started to loosen. The sacred immortality peach had the effect of breaking through bottlenecks, strengthening one's foundation and nourishing one's saint body. Lin Shen's foundation was firm, and he had gone all out to refine the sacred pills. His mental strength, cultivation, and saint body had all reached a critical point, and the benefits of breaking through his limits could be seen immediately. 3 days later, after Lin Shen ate his second sacred immortality peach, a cracking sound rang out, and a terrifying aura swept through the entire room. Lin Shen's 22nd Saint Acupoint was opened. 22 hexagonal stars turned into dazzling stars that flickered in Lin Shen's body. Lin Shen had opened another Saint Acupoint. The effects of the holy immortality peach are truly wondrous. The only drawback is that it cannot be mass-produced. Even if it reaches its peak, only 3 holy immortality peaches can be produced in 1 month if it is not watered with a large amount of Tiani holy water. The effects will be even better if it is consumed at a critical moment after exceeding its limit. When Lin Shen stopped cultivating, he was full of energy and his whole body felt refreshed. He had recovered perfectly, and he had even surpassed his peak state. With the help of his doppelganger, Lin Shen's recovery speed was terrifyingly fast. It's time to get my reward. Chapter 1298. Lin Shen left the secret room and found himself in an ancient pagoda. An elder had been waiting for him for a long time. The elder cupped his fist towards Lin Shen and smiled. Congratulations to Lin Shen for becoming the Heaven's Choice Champion. This old man is sincerely convinced. The Elder Council's ceremony is here. Please follow this old man. Lin Shen nodded and smiled. Thank you for your trouble. At this time, a faint fragrance lingered in the passageway. An icy beauty in a light blue dress with her hair tied up was elegant and dignified. She was devastatingly beautiful. Together? I also want to participate in the Elder Council's ceremony. It was Zi Yunqing. Looking at her appearance, she seemed to have carefully dressed up. Up to you. Lin Shen smiled indifferently. The elder respectfully led the way in front. From time to time, he would glance at the two out of the corner of his eyes. The more he looked, the more he felt that the two were a perfect match. Lin Shen and Princess Zi Yunqing represented the two peak alchemists of the younger generation. If these two could be brought together to join the Elder Council, then the Elder Council's future potential would be even more promising. On the way, Lin Shen would occasionally receive the envious gazes and congratulations of many alchemists in the ancient pagoda. Zi Yunqing awkwardly struck up a conversation with Lin Shen. As proud as she was, she almost never took the initiative to strike up a conversation with a man of the same age. However, a certain Lin Shen casually mentioned the astral travel fruit and didn't take her seriously at all. At the top floor of the ancient pagoda, when the door was pushed open, many top alchemists of the Pill domain were gathered in the main hall. The elders of the jury, Song Ilian, the top 10 alchemists, and 2 amiable old men were present. Ha! Our champion has arrived. A 6th-grade pill, defeating the will of a Saint King. Lin Shun is truly someone this old man admires. A white-clothed old man with a transcendent aura took the initiative to shake hands with Lin Shun. This person's mental energy fluctuations were even more terrifying than the hunchbacked old man's. He was an alchemist on the same level as Song Ilian. All the veteran alchemists in the main hall didn't look at Lin Shun with hostility, only admiration and reverence. This was an absolute submission that originated from strength. If Lin Chen's alchemy skills were at the same level as theirs, perhaps they would admire this young man very much, but he far surpassed them. In terms of alchemy skills, they respectfully addressed Lin Shun as senior, and it was not excessive. After chatting with Lin Shun for a while, everyone was led to a secret room in an ancient pagoda by the Pill region's elder. The secret chamber was a space of its own, and there were actually 3 pavilions inside. Song Ilian, the leader of the group, spoke as they walked. Everyone, since you have joined the Pill region's Elder Guild, you must abide by the rules of the Elder Guild. Naturally, the sect and power you belong to will not change. However, the Elder Guild's information on alchemy is limited to personal learning and is strictly prohibited from spreading it to others. Those who violate this rule will be crippled of their alchemy skills, while those who violate this rule will be punished by the elders themselves. I hope everyone knows this. In addition, if you have any new alchemy experience or skills, share them with the Elders Guild, and you'll be rewarded with new contribution points. Everyone understood Song Ilian's words. The foundation of the Pill region's Elder Guild could not be spread to others. If it was spread, the Elders Guild would use all kinds of methods to get back the money with interest. The white-robed old man stroked his beard and smiled. Among the 3 pavilions, the Heaven Pavilion requires you to become an external elder and have enough contribution points to enter. After speaking, he led everyone into the Human Pavilion, which contained tens of thousands of alchemy books and hundreds of types of alchemy recipes. Each scroll was a priceless treasure. It contained the alchemy experience or general guidelines of alchemy from the Pill region's sage-level alchemists. System: how many cultivation technique soul essences do I need to inscribe all the alchemy books in the Human Pavilion? Lin Shun transmitted his voice to the system. To others, the alchemy books they could choose from were limited, but to him, as long as he had enough cultivation technique soul essences, he could inscribe all of them and enter the system to slowly learn them. System notification: inscribing all the alchemy books in the pavilion requires 137 million high-grade cultivation technique soul essences. The host currently has 78. 6 million high-grade cultivation technique soul essences attribute points. It is not enough to inscribe all the alchemy books. Host, please choose and confirm. The system's reply moved Lin Shun. How many top-notch alchemist experiences and top-notch alchemy recipes were stored here? Lin Shun cultivated an orange-level cultivation technique, but it only cost a few 100,000 high-grade cultivation technique soul essences. All of them added up to more than 100 million. Song Ilian turned to Lin Shun and said, Lin Shun, Zi Yinxing, you two follow me. The top 3 can enter the Earth Pavilion. Zi Yinxing and Lin Shun were led to an even deeper pavilion. There were only 3 floors, and it was covered in dust. However, the space barrier around each counter was extremely powerful. This is the Earth Pavilion. You can choose any alchemy book you want, or you can contribute your alchemy experience. According to our review, you will be given the corresponding contribution points. Song Ilian looked at Lin Shun and said, if you contribute your knowledge of pill refinement to the Elder Council, you might be included in the Heaven Pavilion. The contribution points you'll receive will be more than a few stars. Lin Shun shook his head and laughed. No, other than me, no one can use it. That's not necessarily true. Song Ilian stared at Lin Chen angrily. The system replies to the host. Collecting all the alchemy books in the pavilion requires 3.9 billion high-grade cultivation technique soul essences. At this time, the system's reply made Lin Chen's mouth twitch. No wonder so many alchemy grandmasters wanted to enter the Elder Council. This foundation was really terrifying. Even if he had the opportunity to enter, he wouldn't be able to take all the alchemy books and recipes here. Lin Chen and Zi Yunxing could only choose one alchemy book or recipe each. Zi Yunxing chose the 10 Sons Absolute Manual, a 6th grade Saint-level alchemist experience. Lin Chen chose the 6th grade Saint-level pill recipe 9 Elements Extreme Rotation Pill. The pill recipe needed to be collected with blood and could not be leaked. Violators would be dealt with according to the Elder Council's rules. 69 million high-grade cultivation technique soul essences. 1 copy of the Pill Saint's experience and 3 scrolls of 6th grade Saint-level pill recipes have been recorded. A ray of light entered Lin Chen's forehead. Lin Chen had already recorded more 6th grade pill recipes in secret. According to the rules, you should be a managing elder. However, according to the 2 elders, we'll make an exception and promote you to a guest elder. You don't need to be in charge of anything in the Elder Council. You can come and go as you please. Song Ilian's slender hand grabbed Lin Chen's palm, her fingertips moving swiftly as she drew a golden rune with Lin Chen's name engraved on it. As long as she activated her saint energy, it would appear. This is the mark of a guest elder. Remember to come to the Elixir region more often. Song Ilian seemed to know Lin Chen's temperament very well. He was surprised that she didn't force him to become a managing elder. Zi and Qing looked at the 2 of them with a strange gaze. This kind of treatment where he could pull up his pants and leave as long as he took his name, enjoyed his blessings, and did not let him down was very much to his liking. However, as long as Lin Chen had the ability, he would help the Elder Council if they were in trouble in the future. Lin Chen cupped his fists and smiled. Thank you so much, Beauty Song. Thank you, but you don't have to say it. Song Ilian stared at Lin Chen with a burning gaze. Lin Chen was shocked. What's she trying to do? No, I'm still just a handsome guy. Chapter 1299. The book that Lin Chen had chosen to record was probably a secret alchemy manual left behind by one of the most special alchemists in the Earth Pavilion. The Pill Saint of Hades was a madman of his generation. His alchemy direction was to surpass the limits of one's life in exchange for temporary strength. There are even a few volumes of pill recipes mixed in with the general outline. Because the direction of his alchemy was too brutal and cruel, not many alchemy grandmasters would choose his alchemy manuals, so they were always left empty. Who would have the time to study alchemy that squeezed one's life force in exchange for temporary strength? Wouldn't it be better to study alchemy that could increase one's lifespan and cultivation level? However, this alchemy manual was miraculous for Lin Chen, because his doppelganger was not afraid of death. It could endure all kinds of cruel alchemy masters. This was no less than Lin Chen obtaining a trump card of the alchemy faculty. In the future, his doppelganger could directly consume pills and fight to the death with the opponent. It could even make the opponent's scalp numb. Song Ilian looked away and said indifferently, I'll bring you to receive the champion's reward. Song Ilian flicked her finger, and a whirlpool appeared in the Earth Pavilion. A brand new world appeared inside. It was a golden mountain range and heaven and earth. Holy items and treasures were piled up like a mountain. Lin Chen was shocked. The Myriad Treasure's secret realm was one of the secret realms of the Elixir region's Elders Guild. No saint could remain calm in the face of such abundant treasures. However, in the next moment, Lin Chen's expression changed again. In the Myriad Treasure's secret realm, there was a faint orange elemental glow. There's a new elemental talent in the secret realm. It's at least at the orange level. Lin Chen was shocked, and his face was burning with passion. Song Ilian carried Lin Chen and disappeared into the void. She entered the Myriad Treasure's secret domain, leaving behind the Yunqing, who was in a daze. In the myriad treasures' secret realm, the golden afterglow illuminated the heaven and earth like a beautiful scenery. There are 100 8th-grade holy items. The glazed moonheart fruit. This lake is full of Enyang dragon springs. And this thick black rock that's as big as a mountain is actually a 6th grade, or the 9 heavens thunderstone. Lin Chun was stunned. What kind of place was this? His breathing couldn't help but quicken, and even the little shadow in Qing Shui's plant pouch began to stir. After Little Shadow cultivated for a few times, ordinary pills and saint items could no longer satisfy him. The resources in the myriad treasures' secret realm were too abundant. Compared to it, Lin Chen's current net worth was just a drop in the ocean, not even a strand of hair. You like it here? Why don't you join our Elder Council and specialize in alchemy with me? I guarantee that you'll have enough contribution points to come here and choose treasures every year. Song Ilian's voice was crisp and graceful, moving and full of temptation. Lin Chun swallowed his saliva with difficulty. Seeing him like this, Song Ilian's lips curled up, and she continued to tempt him. With your talent, staying in the Elder Council is the fastest way to become a 7th-grade Saint Alchemist. A 7th-grade alchemist means that you'll be the most respected person in the entire sacred boundary, no matter where you go. You'll be able to obtain beautiful women, cultivation resources, and a huge sect easily. Song Ilian's voice was soft and gentle, like a beautiful body on the bed, teasing Lin Chun, who had been single for 10,000 years. However, the truth was that Lin Chun didn't care about her at all. The reason why he was tempted was not because of Song Ilian's conditions, but because of Lin Chen's decomposition ability. Although every treasure in the myriad treasures' secret realm had a spatial enchantment, Lin Chun could still decompose them. How many attribute points would he get if he decomposed the myriad treasures' secret realm? He didn't dare to think about it. Brother Chun, you have to calm down. Calm down. If I take everything here, I'll become the most wanted criminal in the Dan region. Lin Chun forcefully suppressed his impulse and even used his will to suppress Little Shadow as well. Offending the Elder Council of the Dan region was even more terrifying than offending the Clear Sky Sage King. The treasure was right in front of him, but he couldn't touch it. Lin Chun felt very uncomfortable. Seeing Lin Chun calm down so quickly, Song Ilian couldn't help but be surprised. One had to know that among the past champions of the Heaven's Choice Convention, very few could resist the temptation of the myriad treasures' secret realm. It was because of their high attainments in alchemy that they could understand the preciousness of the myriad treasures' secret realm. Some of the treasures were already extinct in the sacred boundary. Lin Chun wasn't moved at all. What a strong state of mind. Senior Song, a man's ambition is to travel far and wide. I made up my mind. Lead the way. Among the 5 elements Saint ores, I choose the 9th-grade metal Saint ores. Lin Chun said calmly. No matter how many treasures there were, they were not as important as his god of war component. Song Ilian didn't say anything. She looked deeply at Lin Chun and personally led the way, bringing Lin Chun to the easternmost part of the myriad treasures' secret realm. There's a golden pool here, and there was a golden mountain hidden in the pool. The mysterious thing was that the golden pool was filled with metal chi. The slightest touch would cause one to feel as if they were cut by thousands of blades. Especially that miniature golden mountain, Lin Chun could feel a glaring sharpness through the spatial barrier. It was extremely terrifying. Lin Chun was shocked. If he could throw this thing at his opponent during a battle, he might be able to severely injure a 5th-level sage. This was the raw material to forge a 9th-grade Saint artifact. This is the only 9th-grade metal Saint ores in the myriad treasures' secret realm. Song Ilian waved her hand, and the spatial barrier was removed. The golden pool quickly shrank into her palm. This miniature golden mountain contained more than 5 cubic meters of 9th-grade metal Saint ores, just enough to meet Lin Chen's requirements. Song Ilian's cultivation was high, and she gave the golden pool to Lin Chun along with the seal. I finally got it. Next, as long as I have enough second-grade Saint artifacts, I will be able to have 3 parts of the Aries set at the same time. Lin Chun was overjoyed. When he kept the golden pool and put it into Qing Shui's pouch, the entire Myriad Treasure's secret realm suddenly shook. Not good. Someone is attacking. When the 2 old men's voices entered the Myriad Treasure's secret realm, Lin Chun and Song Ilian were instantly on guard. Who dared to come to the Elixir region to cause trouble? Lin Chun. Oh, Lin Chun, you are the first young man I've taken seriously. I hope you could die a little more thoroughly this time. When the cold and majestic voice sounded, Lin Chun and Song Ilian's expressions changed. It's him? Clear Sky Sage King. Rumble. A spatial crack was torn open in the Myriad Treasure's secret realm. Demonic chi and murderous aura filled the air. 6 figures walked out of the spatial crack slowly. The one in the lead was the Clear Sky Sage King, who possessed Dongfang Wuji's spiritual consciousness. Behind him, other than a young man with an ancient aura, there were 4 dark-skinned, 8 zhang tall demonic figures. They had horns on their heads, and a long black tail swayed behind their backs. As they swayed, they shattered the void. Their thick arms were covered with barbs, and their sharp teeth were stained with sticky blood. Their blood-red eyes were filled with murderous aura, and their twisted faces were filled with murderous intent and evil laughter. They were demons. Moreover, compared to the demon king that Lin Chun saw in the 9 States Continent's Firmament Tower, they were many times more powerful. 4 high-level Saint Demon Kings. Clear Sky Sage King, you are really willing to take action. Lin Chun connected the 2 parts of the Aries set at once. If there were any unforeseen circumstances, he would attack with all his might. Chapter 1300. Annoying Brat. Let's see if you can still laugh in another quarter of an hour. The Clear Sky Holy King laughed in anger when he saw Lin Chen's carefree attitude. Song Ilian waved her hand, and ripples appeared in space. However, she couldn't tear it apart. Her expression changed, and she quickly used the Pill Region's Elder Seal to transmit a message. Elders, what's the situation outside? The space has been sealed. We're calling for the Heavens Punishment Hall's elders. Song Ilian's heart sank when she heard the Elder's Seal's message. This was going to be a tough battle. She had no problem protecting herself, but it was extremely difficult to protect Lin Chun. The most important thing was that there were 4 high-level Holy Devil Kings on the other side, and each of them was at least at the peak of the 6th Heaven True Saint Realm. She had heard about the Clear Sky Holy King, and there was a high possibility that he was colluding with the Devil Race. However, she had never thought that the Clear Sky Holy King would be so powerful with just a wisp of his spiritual will. Wong. The Clear Sky Holy King formed a seal, and a dark green holy light shot out from his palm and disappeared. The dark green light enveloped the entire Myriad Treasure's secret domain, and even Song Ilian's Elder Seal lost its effect. In terms of mastery of space, none of the living beings present could compare to the Clear Sky Holy King. He wants to completely seal this space so that even the elders of the Elder Council won't be able to enter. Once he succeeds, we'll have no chance at all. I'll try to hold back the 4 Holy Demon Kings. Your only opponent is that young man for now. If necessary, you have to prepare to self-destruct. I'll use the Elder Imprint as a spatial tunnel and see if I can send your consciousness out. This is the only way for you to survive. Song Ilian said solemnly as she stood beside Lin Chun. That day at the Pill Region's competition venue, the elders of the jury and various forces have been present. Even the Clear Sky Holy King couldn't suppress Huang Xiaolong. He was certain that Lin Chun would enter the Myriad Treasure's secret domain after winning the competition. This was the best time to ambush him. Before Lin Chun could reply, the Clear Sky Holy King turned to the 4 high-level Holy Devil Kings beside him. The 4 of you do it. After you're done, the treasures in this space will be your reward. This king will personally remove the space barrier around the treasures here. The 4 Holy Demon Kings cackled evilly. Thank you, Holy King. The king was right. You are the most sincere friend of the demon race. That woman, I'll take her. I can ask for less treasures, but I want to devour her spiritual power. The Saint Demon Kings moved, and their demonic aura surged. Their speed was so fast that it created a turbulent airflow. Hurricanes swept out in all directions, and the space was torn apart like a giant python. It tore open a spatial crack that was as deep as the abyss, and it attacked Lin Chun and Mo Wuji. Whoosh! Boom! Boom! A crimson rainbow, like a crescent moon, actually swept out from the clear snow plant pouch at Lin Chen's waist, shaking the heavens. The four holy demon kings paused for a moment, and each struck out with their palms, crushing the crimson rainbow head-on. The humans also have helpers? The four demon kings were shocked. Even Lin Chun didn't expect this situation. While Clear Sky's sacred king sealed the space, he couldn't help but look in Lin Chen's direction. His eyes were filled with astonishment. There's such a thing. He saw a beautiful woman in a crimson dress. Her hair was like a waterfall, and her beautiful eyes were like rippling waves. She was otherworldly and elegant. There was an enchanting charm between her brows, and the corners of her lips curled upward. I didn't expect that a Saint King would have to collude with the demons to attack a young man. The crimson beauty smiled gently, and her every move was as graceful as a fairy's. Lin Chun was shocked. Fairy Crimson? How did she come in? Although Clear Sky's sacred king was far from his peak strength, the Elixir region's elders outside couldn't come in. Your holy immortality peach seed was given to you by me. How could I not have some backup plans? Fairy Crimson chuckled, and only then did Lin Chun come back to his senses. Her original body was a spiritual plan of providence, and she had a wonderful relationship with other spiritual plants of providence. Perhaps it was because of this relationship that she could bypass Clear Sky Sacred King's restrictions. You really are a living person. Lin Chun shook his head and laughed. Clear Sky Sacred King's gaze suddenly became puzzled and strange. You're not human? Fairy Crimson smiled and said, Senior Sacred King, why are you still scolding me? Song Ilian calmed down a little. Although Fairy Crimson's aura was very strange. With her help, the situation this time wasn't the most desperate yet. Roar. I'm not afraid no matter how many people come. I'll devour them all. The four demon kings roared and instantly rushed toward the two women. One of the demon kings rushed toward Lin Chun. Song Ilian immediately sent a telepathic message. Friend, I'll hold back the three Saint Demon Kings. As for the rest, Fairy Crimson said calmly, let's split them evenly. The two women instantly turned into a beam of light and collided with the four demon kings like a flash of light. Two saint auras rose in the myriad treasure's secret realm like the sun, shaking the entire existential plane. Before the battle began, Fairy Crimson flicked her finger and sent Lin Chun thousands of miles away. Even so, Lin Chun was still pushed back thousands of miles by the aura of the six supreme masters, all the way to the southernmost part of the myriad treasure's secret realm. This aura was even more terrifying than that of Lin Xingchen, who was injured by him that day. He wasn't in a hurry to reveal his trump card at all. Instead, he looked at the young figure in the void. Lin Chen suddenly smiled at the cold and indifferent young man. Aren't you afraid of death fighting me? The black-robed young man laughed disdainfully. I bet you can't bring out the strength you had that day in the Realm Tower. Lin Chun was stunned. Why did this line sound so familiar? Could you be Yin Shuangying? You bet that I don't have any bullets? Lin Chun, remember my name? Mo Jui. I'm the one who's going to kill you. Mo Jui sneered, and when his shoulders shook, the world lost its color. Three dark demonic wheels rose behind his head, and demonic aura surged, transforming into a three-headed, nine-armed demon. However, there were 35 glowing saint points in his body, and his holy power and demonic aura coexisted as one. Lin Chun, do you know what it means to be a supreme being? I, Mo Jui, am a dual cultivator of both human and demon. With the help of the Sage King, I'll expand my acupoints 29 times. Today, I'll show you what it means to be the chosen one. 29 times expansion. Even the standard of the genius roll was 15 times expansion, which was already the top result in the human race's 36 domains in the sacred boundary. Even if the genius roll could surpass the first expansion, it wouldn't be by too much. This Mo Jui was indeed ridiculously strong. Mo Jui sneered and stretched out his demonic palm. It was as if thousands of demons were howling in the sky, and the demonic aura in the world surged. His right fist was like a giant made of holy light, and he struck in Lin Chen's direction with a backhand. His red fist shone with holy light as it blasted toward Lin Chen. The fist and palm combined the ultimate techniques of both human and demon. A murderous aura enveloped Lin Chen. What a dual cultivator of both human and demon. Let me give you a slash. Clang. Lin Chen wasn't afraid at all. He drew his saber and slashed horizontally, using flickering light, split shadows, and God's tear. 5 layers of rapidly spinning saber aura swept across the sky, and when it slashed toward Mo Jui, the saber aura exploded. Bang! 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 The saber aura fragments in the sky swept toward Mo Jui like a hurricane, and layers of spear shadows danced like dragons. As the sword aura slashed horizontally, Mo Jui's fist and palm were turned into energy explosions. Mo Jui's expression changed slightly. Chapter 1301. How can a saint power be so strong? While Mo Jiu was still in shock, Lin Chen stood on the head of the Saint Dragon with the phoenix spear on his shoulder. His battle-intent soared without any fear. His 6 clones were either standing with their hands on their sabers or carrying bows and swords on their backs. They were extraordinarily handsome. What was even more terrifying was that when Lin Chen and his clones had 22 sacred points, there were more than 36 odd crystals that shone brightly on his body like stars. 36 odd crystals? Aren't you in the 3rd heaven true, Saint Realm? How can you be so strong without that vambrace? While Mo Jiu was still in shock, Lin Chen responded with an attack. True Dragon Dance. Lin Chen activated Instant Light clone technique and pulled out layers of spear shadows. Like a group of dancing dragons, he killed all of Mo Jiu's escape routes. Demon Devour. Demonic chi rose and turned into a bloody mouth that swallowed Lin Chen's spear. Heaven and earth changed drastically. The waves surged and flooded the entire sky, forming 5 water prison heavenly prisons, trapping Mo Jiu within. Powerful divine ability, but weak cultivation. Break. The Saint Point's holy light turned into a long sword that slashed horizontally. With a grab of demonic chi, it instantly crushed the Saint Dragon's extreme prison heavenly prison. Although the Saint Dragon's extraordinary divine ability was strong, it depended on one's cultivation. Mo Jiu had 35 Saint Points and had expanded them 8 times. Each expansion was 29 to 30 times. He could erupt with more than 70 billion dragon power points. Not to mention that he cultivated both the human and demon Tao. The Saint Dragon only had 2 billion dragon veins, so 20 billion dragon power points was nothing in front of him. Before he could break free, the extreme prison heavenly prison was just a feint from Lin Chen. The moment the heavenly prison was broken, an endless dragon roared through the sky. Just as Mo Jiu was about to retreat, his eyes trembled. In the space in front of his eyes, giant spirit dragons, burning with burning flames, rose from the heads of his 6 avatars. 8 division burning dragon roar. This was a rare orange rank spiritual cultivation technique. After Lin Chen broke through to the late stage Saint Realm, he could perfectly display its power. Roar, roar, roar. Furthermore, when he activated Instant Light Doppelganger, the sound waves of each doppelganger's 8 spirit-burning dragons changed from 1 to 5, and their roars shattered the continental plates. The dragons' roar shattered heaven and earth, shaking the galaxy with a single roar. The terrifying sound waves of the mental attack swept through the southernmost region of the Myriad Treasure's secret realm. The airflow collapsed, and the light dimmed. Bang! 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 Demonic chi exploded all over Mo Jui's body, and his holy light dimmed. That roar had shattered his demonic chi and dimmed his holy light. As he retreated, Mo Jiu was almost seriously injured. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, and a burning sensation spread through his spiritual sea. This mental burn can't be healed. While Mo Jiu was still recovering from his shock, Lin Chen's 6 doppelgangers swarmed forward, forcing Mo Jiu to ignore his injuries and engage in a fierce battle with Lin Chen's doppelgangers. Demonic energy surged and holy light exploded. The two sides fought from the sky to the ground. Everywhere they passed, there would be an explosion of boundless energy waves. The strength of the battle was simply beyond common sense. That's impossible. My demonic chi is nourished by a high-level holy demon king, and the number of acupoints I expanded is far beyond the ordinary monstrous talents list. Even early-stage 5th Heaven Sage is no match for me. This guy is just a 3rd Heaven Sage. How can he fight with me? His holy power is so strong that it doesn't seem like a 3rd Heaven Sage at all. The more Mo Jiu fought, the more shocked he became. Was this guy really human? All of the doppelgangers' holy acupoints were like stars in the sky, and every move they made was close to the late-stage 4th Heaven Sage realm. Was this the power of a sage with 22 holy acupoints? What a joke. With the passive talent of Supreme God Possession and the Tai Sky Concealment Technique, Lin Chen's holy acupoints were at least 4 times stronger than others. With 22 holy acupoints, an ordinary sage would only have a destructive power of 4 billion dragon power points. However, Lin Chen could cause a destructive power of 20 billion dragon power points. Not to mention, he had the power of 36 odd crystals and a powerful spiritual sea. Bang! Bang! Even though the doppelgangers fought with their lives, they only caused minor injuries to Mo Jiu. Mo Jiu's demonic chi still destroyed 3 of his doppelgangers. In terms of cultivation realm, there was an absolute gap between the two. Whoosh! Lin Chen's main body appeared above Mo Jiu's head, and a 9-colored star in his palm revolved with a destructive aura. All of his holy power was injected into 33 odd crystals. 4 of them were mid-grade odd crystals, and their power was like the condensation of star cores. The aura was earth-shattering. Rumble! Behind Lin Chen, the majestic silhouette of the Supreme God appeared once more. Host has activated the active effect of instant light split shadows and Supreme God Possession. 600,000 talent points have been used to activate the extreme mutation effect. With Supreme God Possession, the 9-colored star was added with a hazy purple light. Go! Lin Chen laughed and swung the 9-colored star in his palm. It turned into 5 streaks of 9-colored auroras and shot towards Mo Jiu. Mo Jiu immediately spat out a mouthful of blood and grabbed it. The holy power in his holy acupoints was rapidly depleted, and his demonic chi surged as though it was being devoured by the demonic chi. Bloodthirsty ghost technique. A 10,000 feet tall giant demon appeared from Mo Jiu's body. His eyes were filled with hostility as he slashed towards Lin Chen's 9 Calamity Star with a demonic sword. Rumble! The sword slashed the star, and the 9-colored star exploded, instantly drowning Mo Jiu. As the 5 9-colored light pillars revolved, the area within 1,000 miles was shrouded in 9-colored light. A faint purple light drifted and released a destructive aura. Lin Chen used superdimensional teleportation to return to his clone. When he saw an attribute light ball in the void, he immediately knew the result. The active effect of the Supreme God Possession talent is very strong. It can amplify my moves to the extreme. The higher the grade, the stronger the amplification effect. Not to mention my 9 tribulation stars, its power has increased by several levels. This result surprised Lin Chun. Mo Jioye's combat power was comparable to a Saint level 5. Even if his 9 Calamity Star could shake a Saint level 5, it shouldn't have such a result. Other than the horrifying consumption of talent points, Supreme God was probably the strongest growth-type talent that Lin Chun had ever obtained. Whoosh! Rip! With a whistling sound, the 9-colored pillar of light was suddenly torn apart and dissipated into thin air. Lin Chun's heart sank. The main character was here. At the center of the 9-colored light pillar, the clear sky Sage King's figure appeared. He carried the unconscious Mo Jiuyi, who was covered in blood, with one hand as if he was carrying a piece of merchandise. He frowned. This idiot can't even stall for time. Is it done? Space imprisonment. Lin Chun calmly activated the Elixir region's Elder Seal. As expected, there was no reaction at all. Lin Chun's clone and the Divine Dragon moved closer to his main body. Lin Chun's battle intent rose, and he was ready to fight again. The Myriad Treasure's secret realm had been completely cut off from the outside world. It was completely isolated. If he wanted to leave, he would have to force his way out from the inside. The Clear Sky Sage King threw Mo Jioyi into his Providence plant pouch and smiled with his pale face. How dare you mess with my backup body like this? Lin Chun, even if the old guys from the Elixir region come, they won't be able to save you. Bang! The Clear Sky Sage King stepped on the void and charged toward Lin Chun. Song Ilian's expression changed. The 2 demon kings who wanted to break through the encirclement were attacked by the other party. They didn't even have a chance. Lin Chun put on the Ares Vambrace at lightning speed. Chapter 1302. Elixir Region, Heaven, Earth, and Man Pavilions. There's a change in the space plane. What's going on? Someone has broken into the Myriad Treasure's secret realm. It's the Clear Sky Holy King. This is bad. Although the Myriad Treasure's secret realm's defense is strong, it's not enough to deal with a Holy King. Many elders and alchemy grandmasters who participated in the competition were shocked. If the Myriad Treasure's secret realm was destroyed, it would be a loss for all of them. Not to mention that Song Ilian and Lin Chun were inside. Any death or injury would be a great loss to the alchemy world. A ray of holy light shone on the heaven, earth, and man pavilions, and 3 elders walked out. They were the 2 elders from before, and the last one was an old man in green. He was the head of the Elders Guild. Senior, what's the situation inside? Zi Yunqing asked anxiously. The head in green said calmly. When a holy king attacks, even a wisp of his spiritual will can suppress an ancient existence. Although the head in green looked calm, there was a trace of unconcealable shock in his eyes. He removed all the spatial restrictions in the Myriad Treasure's secret realm and used them to his advantage. It has become a completely separated and independent spatial realm. Now it's a boundless void. If we want to forcefully open it from the outside, we'll have to destroy the Myriad Treasure's secret realm. However, there's a high chance that the people inside will die. Everyone's heart sank. Wasn't this hopeless? A holy king's spiritual will and 4 demon kings. Unless all the elders present were present, there was no way they could protect Lin Chun. The Clear Sky Holy King is determined to kill Lin Chun. He can refine a 6th-grade divine pill at such a young age. In the future, he might really become a threat to a holy king. It's not unreasonable for a holy king to want to kill him. Nonsense. Hurry up and think of a way to save him. The head in green looked into the distance and said seriously, I've already sent a message to the 2 Supreme Elders. I just don't know if Song Ilian can protect Lin Chun until the Supreme Elders arrive. Myriad Treasure's secret realm. Song Ilian's heart sank as she failed to break out. Fighting and alchemy were 2 different things. How could Lin Chun be a match for a holy king's spiritual will? Although Scarlet Fairy was fully engaged in the battle, her attention was also on Lin Chun. Boom! Clear Sky, Saint King stepped on a bolt of lightning and clenched his fist. In the instant that Lin Shun donned the war god bracers, a blinding golden light illuminated the entire plane. Bursts of invincible might surged forth, and Lin Chen's dragon power surged violently. 500 billion dragon power points, 100 billion dragon power points, 150 billion dragon power points. His strength had already surpassed the strength he had displayed during the battle against Lin Xingchen. 8 trillion dragon power points. And it didn't stop. Unstoppable. Golden light sprinkled all over Lin Chen's body. His eyes were like that of a god descending into the world, looking down on all the worlds with undefeatable battle prowess. Lin Shun suddenly swung his fist, and the world spun as he faced the clear sky, Saint King head-on. TSK. Bang! Energy fluctuations that could topple heaven and earth exploded between the two of them. Golden divine light illuminated heaven and earth, and the entire existential plane was trembling. If the treasures in the myriad treasures' secret domain were not protected by spatial barriers, the Pill region's elder assembly would have suffered heavy losses. While what? Song Yilian's heart trembled slightly. Lin Shun could actually unleash such powerful strength? She had been in seclusion all year round to cultivate medicine and did not know about the various legends about Lin Shun, let alone the recent events in the Realm Tower. When the remaining demonic chi dissipated, the clear sky, Saint King shook his palm and frowned. 3 trillion dragon power points, directly surpassing the strength of 2 supremes. This brat still held back the last time? On the other side, Lin Chen's figure retreated rapidly. When he stabilized himself, he could not help but let out a long breath. This old fox indeed came prepared. 3 trillion dragon power points could only push him back a little. Dongfang Wuji, who was possessed by the clear sky Saint King, naturally could not fight with Lin Shun. He purely relied on his mental strength and strange demon race cultivation to fight with Lin Shun. The last time he fought with Lin Xingchen, the highest he could unleash was 200 billion dragon power points. This time, it had already exceeded the full power of the previous attack, but the clear sky Saint King did not seem to be at a disadvantage. You are indeed a disaster. If I keep you alive, you will definitely go against my plans in the future. If I can't get your physical body, you can die here. The clear sky Saint King's palm flashed, and a divine pill surrounded by boundless dragon power appeared. He swallowed it in one gulp. Rumble. Mysterious light flowed around his body, and yin and yang dragon chi surrounded him as if he was reborn. The clear sky Saint King's vitality suddenly surged. It was the divine pill that he had refined during the Heaven's Choice Convention. He did not expect him to have such a trump card. The clear sky Saint King's body flashed, and he moved even faster. Little brat, it's your turn to perform. Lin Chen shouted, and his aura did not decrease. He waved his golden fist and violently punched the void where the clear sky Saint King was. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Lin Shun waved his fists continuously, and the wind from his fists was overwhelming. The clear sky Saint King pointed his finger, and the demonic chi turned into demonic dragons that roared and clashed with the wind from his fists. As the two of them fought, every move made the entire myriad treasure's secret realm tremble. The clear sky Saint King's shoulders shook, and 4 pairs of black wings appeared. With a slight flap, he flashed thousands of miles away. His 5 fingers were filled with killing intent. When the clear sky Saint King moved through the void, his palm was filled with demonic chi, and it slammed down on Lin Chen's head. Rumble. The wind from his palm slammed down, and it swept across the entire area. It was like a black hole of demonic chi, and it crushed Lin Shun into pieces. However, it was just an afterimage. Impossible. He can actually keep up with my speed. My Heavenly Demon 9 Wings is a mid-orange grade movement technique. Even if I use demonic chi to activate it, it is not something that a junior like him can dodge. The clear sky Saint King immediately looked around the entire myriad treasure's secret realm. The next moment, his pupils shrank. On the east side of the secret realm, the young man with blood flowing out of his mouth flapped a pair of purplish-black wings that were more than 100 feet long. Demonic chi rose, and dragon chi surrounded him. What was even more mysterious was that the wings opened a pair of eyes, as if they were alive, and they stared at the clear sky, Saint King. Innate dark shadow? Demon race? No. What is this thing? The clear sky, Saint King, was shocked again. This young man had so many secrets that even he, a Saint King, had never seen before. He had studied the demon race's secret technique, and his judgment was far better than a normal saint. He could tell at a glance that this dark shadow had an unknown life force. The clear sky, Saint King activated his heavenly demon 9 wings again. It turned into a flash of black lightning. My strength is not enough. I need to be stronger. Lin Shen's god of war Vambrace shone with a golden light again, and his aura suddenly became stronger. In the next moment, Lin Shen punched the air in front of him, and his dragon power increased rapidly. It had reached 5 trillion dragon power, and his punch could shatter the Milky Way. Chi! Bam! 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 The two of them instantly engaged in a fierce battle, and their speed was so fast that they were like 2 bolts of lightning fighting in the myriad treasure secret realm. In an instant, they were thousands of miles away. Every time the two of them collided, they would create a shock wave that could shatter space. It was as if even light could not escape from it. Song Ilian's jaw almost dropped. Lin Shen was actually on par with the Saint King. His combat strength was not any weaker than hers. It was even stronger than hers. How could it be described as fighting someone of a higher cultivation level than him? He had completely surpassed a few cultivation levels. How many more secrets does this young man have? Could it be that the alchemy that he revealed in the Heaven's Choice Convention was just the tip of the iceberg? Chapter 1303. My guess was right. His limit is not as simple as it was in the Realm Tower. Fairy Scarlet was overjoyed. She focused on dealing with the 2 Saint Demon Kings. From the moment Little Dark Shadow appeared, the 4 Demon Kings' battle rhythm was disrupted, and they began to waver. Little guy, can you pass through the barrier here? Lin Shen asked Little Shadow through telepathy. The little fellow's tender voice replied to Lin Shen, No, Goo Goo. The space here has been sealed by that person. Goo Goo, the original space enchantment has been converted into an energy confinement. Goo Goo, we can only break it from the inside. You can't break out? Let's see who can last longer. Lin Shen was not discouraged. His opponent was a Saint King. Once his state of mind and battle spirit weakened, a fatal flaw would appear in the battle, and he would be defeated in an instant. If he wanted to fight, he had to fight with all his might. He had to attack with all his might. The myriad treasure's secret realm shook violently for a few thousand times. The space barrier that covered the treasures began to collapse. Although the barrier was strong, it could not withstand the terrifying collision between the two of them. Lin Shen's pure strength was maintained at around 4 trillion dragon power. His doppelganger was also refining the Long Kingwo and Saint Pills in Clear Snow's pouch to heal Lin Shen. He wanted to keep him in peak condition as much as possible. 4 trillion dragon power is the limit of the god of war Vambrace. If I increase it any further, the energy consumption will increase exponentially. He's a living dead. I don't believe that I can outlast him. Lin Shen was really angry. The god of war Vambrace released golden light to protect Little Shadow from the aftershocks of the battle. His punches were filled with terrifying dragon power that could destroy star cores. The Clear Sky Saint King was even more shocked. During the battle with Lin Shen, he realized that the innate dark shadow attached to Lin Shen's body was only around stage 8. According to the standard of Saint Beasts, it was not even stage 8. Lin Shen, who relied on pure strength to move, could not dodge his 9 wings of the heavenly demon. However, such a young shadow was able to increase Lin Shen's speed by more than 1-fold. Bang! Fists and palms surged, and a terrifying mushroom cloud that blotted out the sky exploded. The clear sky Saint King retreated a few hundred steps, and Lin Shun was pushed back 1,000 miles. His body was bathed in blood, but he didn't look tired at all. Lin Shen's mental state became even more refined and refined. His 23rd hexagonal star began to stir. The benefits of battling as Saint King would bring him an even more terrifying boost in the near future. Holy King stared at Lin Shun and Little Shadow, who was not far away. His eyes were distracted for a moment. He seemed to have seen the most troublesome combination in the world. He, the Clear Sky Sage King, had seen all kinds of monstrous talents. He had also seen many holy infant on the saint talent ranking, but he had never seen such a combination, an innate dark shadow with top-notch bloodlines from various clans. A youth who was so strong that even he, the Saint King of this generation, felt that it was beyond his understanding. In the future, you might really surpass me. The Clear Sky Saint King calmed down. In the past, he was afraid that Lin Shen's potential would hinder his resurrection plan. But now, he had to admit that if this kid didn't die in the future, he might surpass him and stand at the peak of the sacred boundary, exploring the supreme divine realm, even though he wasn't even comparable to someone on the saint talent ranking now. What's wrong? Lord Saint King, have you changed your mind? If you don't want to fight, just go out and turn right. I can still send you off. Lin Shen grinned and looked at the Ares Vambrace charge without batting an eyelid. There was still 85% left. If they continued fighting, his dragon power would decrease. The Clear Sky Saint King opened his arms and laughed proudly. Lin Shun, you should feel honored. This king admits that you could be considered as my Clear Sky Saint King's true opponent. For Demon Kings, give me your blood. As soon as he said that, the 4 Demon Kings trembled. He actually has to use that last trump card. This puny human is so strong that even friend Clear Sky can't defeat him. After being shocked, the Saint Demon King's arm transformed into a black blade and stabbed toward his own chest. Splat! When the demon blood spilled, they actually dug out their own demon hearts. Not good. Fairy Scarlet and Song Ilian's expressions changed slightly. They seemed to have realized something terrifying. In the next moment, the 4 Demon Kings swallowed their demon hearts. When they chewed their demon hearts, they spat out a mouthful of black blood and shot it toward the Clear Sky Saint King. The Clear Sky Saint King retreated and used his fingertips to cut open his palm. Strangely, his body didn't bleed. Lin Shen instantly felt that something was wrong. He waved his Ares Vambrace, and the golden fist wind blasted out. The demon blood was extremely fast. When it came into contact with Dongfang Wuji's body, the wound on his palm instantly absorbed 4 mouthfuls of demon blood. Bang! 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 The golden light exploded, and the Clear Sky Saint King blocked Lin Shen's punches with one hand. This is the feeling. The feeling of the demon blood boiling is really irresistible. The Clear Sky Saint King groaned in intoxication. His eyes were red, and a series of strange black bubbles appeared under his skin. Horns broke out of his head, and he looked more and more like a peerless demon. Taste the power that I exchanged for by sacrificing 100 generations of my life. Human woman. Kaka. After swallowing your flesh, I will also chew your spiritual power to pieces. The 2 Saint Demon Kings went berserk. Their claws shot out tens of thousands of demonic chi, and they were like dragons dancing around, causing the myriad treasure's secret realm to tremble and float. Fairy Scarlet and Song Ilian were forced to retreat, and they even suffered some minor injuries. The current Saint Demon King's strength was more than twice as strong as before. Not only that, but the other 2 Saint Demon Kings also rushed out of Song, Ilian, and Fairy Scarlet's encirclement and surrounded Lin Shun for both sides. 3 against 1. Lin Shun was in an absolute predicament. I've said before that I will use all means to kill you. Other than that arm guard, your potential is nothing in front of this king. The Clear Sky Saint King laughed sinisterly. Just when he was about to make his move, Lin Chun suddenly laughed. Yes, without my bracer, I am nothing in front of you. But where did you get the confidence to think that I only have one of such treasures? Lin Chen's smile was wild and overbearing. In order to guard against you cunning old fools, I can't only rely on one trump card. The clear sky Saint King was stunned. Could it be? The golden light appeared again, and the clear sky Saint King's eyes widened. Brilliant golden light surrounded Lin Chen's left leg, and the mysterious god of war's runes appeared. A brand new leg armor fit perfectly under Lin Chen's left knee. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, heaven and earth roared. Streaks of divine aura shot up into the sky like flowers falling from the sky. The golden light gathered and formed a shadow that covered Lin Chen's body. The shadow was wearing a helmet and armor, and its battle aura was invincible. Even though it was just a flash of the shadow, it gave the clear sky Saint King the illusion that he was invincible. He had only encountered this kind of invincible pressure once in the primordial age. It was the true God realm that was above the Saint King realm. Chapter 1304. The Aries God of War set could increase one's strength by stacking the number of parts. At this moment, Lin Chen's pure strength was unstoppable. It had reached a whole new level. Golden light covered Lin Chen's head. It was the absolute power of the world. Lin Chen's eyes were like the reincarnation of the God of War. It was terrifying, and it shocked the clear sky Sage King. 2. 5 trillion dragon power. 2. 9 trillion dragon power. 3. 5 trillion dragon power. 4 trillion dragon power. The blood in Lin Chen's body became chaotic. It was like boiling lava, and it could not be stopped. His flesh started to collapse, and his sage body started to bleed. Lin Chen, who was surrounded by endless golden light, started to bleed. His body had reached its limit. This was the first time that Lin Chen's sage body could not withstand the power of the Aries God of War set. It's not enough. With this strength, I can't break through the encirclement of the 2 demon kings and the clear sky Sage King. I need more. Lin Chen roared angrily as he glared at the clear sky Sage King. His body, which was covered in a vast amount of divine light, started to burn with an orange flame. Consumed 300,000 talent points. The host has chosen his target. Orange rank, innate skill, absolute life, and death. Increasing the host's strength, an orange flame broke through the shackles. The 22 hexagonal stars in Lin Chen's body started to glow with orange flames. This orange flame burned all of his saint points, saint energy, blood chi, mental energy, and even his life force and his strength. The orange rank, innate skill, absolute life, and death. This was the first time Lin Chen used this skill after it was upgraded. The strength that he gained from burning his sage body's life force was on a completely different level compared to when he was still the War Emperor. 4. 5 trillion dragon power, 5 trillion dragon power, 5 trillion dragon power, 5 trillion dragon power. With the help of the absolute life and death, Lin Chen's Aries God of War set increased his strength to another level. Oh no! The 2 demon kings' faces changed. They stomped on the void and rushed to Lin Chen's back like lightning. The 2 demon kings attacked Lin Chen's back. Their palms were like a black vortex. The moment they attacked, the light in the world dimmed, and the entire Myriad Treasure's secret realm became a nest of demons. Only the dazzling golden divine radiance did not fall. Golden divine radiance suddenly flashed. TSK. Bang! Demonic chi exploded, and black smoke billowed in the sky. 2 tens of thousands of miles long spatial cracks appeared in the Myriad Treasure's secret realm. Those were the directions where the 2 Saint Demon Kings were sent flying. It was a ghastly sight. The 2 Demon Kings didn't even see how Lin Chen attacked. Finally, Lin Chen's power soared all the way to 630 billion dragon power points. 9,999 beams of golden light crisscrossed in the void as the young man slowly walked out of the golden light pillar. The terrifying power that could tear the world apart shattered the spatial crystal walls. Lin Shun hovered in the air as he donned the god of war's right arm and left leg armor at the same time. Amidst the golden divine light, even the spatial barriers set up by the clear sky, Holy King, started to crumble. His entire body was dazzling like an array of stars that were covered in divine radiance. He was invincible in all directions, and he was like a god of war in golden armor that had descended into the world. He controlled the sun, moon, the universe, and ruled over the destruction of all things. The two demon kings were knocked back by Lin Shun in one move, and they regained some of their senses from their violent rage. They were shocked for the first time. What kind of move did this human use? I've never seen such a heaven-defying young human before. Lin Chen's heart throbbed. Although his life force was slowly fading away, he didn't panic at all. All he had was the will to fight against the heavens and the earth. Little guy, go back. Leave the rest to me. Lin Shan sent a telepathic message to Little Dark Shadow, and Little Dark Shadow immediately returned to his clear snow plant pouch. In the following battle, Little Dark Shadow couldn't interfere even if it was extremely talented. Lin Shun even had to split his attention to protect it. His body was filled with heaven-defying divine power, and he had the illusion that he could turn the world upside down with a wave of his hand. It seemed like a long time, but in fact, it was only an instant. The clear sky, Holy King instantly came back to his senses. You still have a trump card? The clear sky, Holy King's voice was hoarse. He didn't expect that Lin Shun still had such a powerful trump card. I still have a lot of trump cards, Lord Holy King. Last time, the sacred burial mountain was almost smashed into pieces by your array. Now, Lin Shun smiled coldly. Let's settle the score now. Arrogant young man, die. Red refined 7 kills. The Holy King didn't hold back anymore. He pointed out a finger, and everything fell silent. A giant demonic chi finger with the word kill engraved on it appeared in the sky. It was as if there were demons rushing toward Lin Shun. The god of war's right arm armor shone brightly. Lin Shun laughed arrogantly and threw out a palm strike. This palm strike was so powerful that it could shake the world. This palm strike was so powerful that it could dominate the world. Between the 5 fingers, there was a mighty force that could suppress ghosts and gods. It was like a storm that swept across the sun, the moon, and the stars. It suddenly descended upon the myriad treasures' secret realm, and heaven and earth trembled in fear. Chi! Rip! The moment the space was pierced, the clear sky, Holy King's red refined 7 kills finger was directly smashed into nothingness by Lin Shun. Bang! Lin Shun took a step forward, and his body turned into a flash of divine light. The clear sky, Holy King's scalp turned numb. Before he could escape, a golden light spun furiously. Lin Shen's speed was so fast that it was as if he was jumping between realms. The golden leg armor shone brightly above the Holy King's head. Lin Shun, who was above the Holy King's head, suddenly unleashed his dragon power. With a flash of golden light, his leg was like a battle axe, and it hit the top of the Holy King's head. Chi! Bang! The clear sky, Holy King was sent flying by Lin Shen's kick, and he crashed into the myriad treasures' secret realm. The entire realm shook as if it was hit by a meteorite. Half of the mountain in the secret realm was directly smashed into half, and the foundations on both sides were completely overturned. Song Yilian, who was in a tough battle, could not help but tremble. One had to know that the many treasures in the myriad treasures' secret realm were all set up by the Grand Supreme Elder of the Elders Guild, without a specific method. Even Song Yilian could not destroy a single flower or plant in the myriad treasures' secret realm. Lin Shun broke the mountain in the myriad treasures' secret realm with just one kick? How many more secrets does this young man have? Bang! 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 Demonic chi rose, and when it exploded continuously, It formed hundreds and thousands of demonic rings that were as dark as the abyss. They surrounded Lin Chun in all directions. Each demonic ring could easily crush a peak 5th stage saint and even severely injure an early stage, 6th stage saint. The two demon kings clenched their fists tightly, and the demonic rings shrunk at lightning speed, squeezing the space and trying to trap Lin Chun. Break! Lin Chen's shoulders shook, and his dragon energy swept across the 4 seas. Tens of thousands of rays of golden light shot out from his body, and they turned into golden rays that fell like flowers from the sky, shattering all the black demonic rings. Lin Chen raised his hand and clenched it into a fist, and a golden fist light suddenly shot out in the direction of the two demon kings. In an instant, it turned into countless afterimages, and he threw out hundreds of punches at lightning speed. The power of each punch was no less than 550 billion dragon energy. The two demon kings were filled with murderous intent, and they were ready to fight. One of the demon kings released all his demonic chi, and it turned into a huge heaven-covering demon falcon that swept across the sky. The other demon king's demonic body cracked open a space that seemed like it was connected to another dimension. A demonic claw reached out from the crack, and it met Lin Chen's hundreds of punches head-on. Bang! 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 Terrifying energy filled the sky, and the myriad treasure's secret realm was on the verge of collapsing. The glowing golden fist wind forced the two demon kings to retreat continuously. Even Fairy Scarlet, who was on the other side of the secret realm, was shocked. How can he be so powerful? How can he still have the upper hand in a 1-on-3 fight? Chapter 1305. In the space below Lin Chun, another blood-red lightning bolt shot toward him. It contained the aura of death. The clear sky Sage King's blood-red lightning bolt made Lin Chun feel a sense of danger. He immediately activated his dragon power and retreated. With a backhand slap, he shattered the blood-red lightning bolt. Lin Chun, if I don't get rid of you, I won't be able to rest easy. Die. The clear sky Sage King roared. The demonic blood in his body condensed into a demonic dragon and charged toward Lin Chun. An old monster who has betrayed the human race should go back to your coffin. Lin Chen's battle intent rose. When he shattered the demonic dragon with a punch, he threw out dozens of punches. His dragon power was so powerful that the light dimmed. Zhou Tian teleportation. The two of them fought fiercely. Lin Chen's punches and kicks were so powerful that they could shatter an entire plane. However, after the clear sky Sage King absorbed the demonic blood of the 4 demon kings, his strength became stronger as time passed. However, at the same time, his entire body was collapsing. His body was bleeding profusely, and his demonic aura soared into the sky. His face was distorted, and black bubbles were coming out of it. He no longer looked like a human. After this battle, he would definitely not be able to use this body anymore. Every time he took over a new body, his spiritual power would gradually weaken. The two of them were fighting with killing intent. Neither of them had any intention of retreating. Both of them wanted to get rid of the other here. The two demon kings were forced to retreat for less than 10 breaths before they charged toward Lin Chun again. The Saint Demon Kings were extremely violent and vicious. They had to win this battle at the cost of swallowing their demonic hearts and sacrificing their lifespan. With the 3 demons attacking together, Lin Chun fought with all his might. He threw himself into the battle. His punches were like fierce dragons that shook the stars. His palms were like heaven and earth. Every time, he would charge into the 3 demons' close combat area and fight. He unleashed his pure strength to the extreme. Every punch was on the flesh, for streaks of holy light flashed. Lin Chen's punches and kicks were like a god of war descending to the world to fight against the demons. His battle prowess was invincible, and his divine radiance would never fade. Super Chaos triggered 4 times. Host has activated all the Chaos times. talent points consumed. 400,000. Successfully activated destruction rupture. Consumed 660,000 talent points. Obtained 250,000 heavens path points, 190,000 talent points, 190,000 set essence points, 300 million enhancement points. The more Lin Chen fought, the braver he became. He used his various talents one after another. He did not hesitate to use up all his talent points to fight the Clear Sky Saint King to the end. At the same time, the attribute points he gained were all terrifyingly high. In the outside world, while the Pill region's Elder Assembly was still anxious, the azure-robed powerhouse's expression suddenly changed. The spatial enchantment is about to crack. Is there a change in the situation inside? The cyan-robed man immediately took action. He tore the space apart and rushed into the space above the entrance of the Myriad Treasure's secret realm. As long as there was any situation, even if there was a trace of aura leaking out, he would immediately rush in through the internal space crack. Seeing this, the elders immediately rushed out of the heaven, earth, and human pavilions. They stepped into the air and floated above towering Sky Island. With a wave of their sleeves, they activated the space array and even added a layer of space enchantment to protect it. What's going on? It's the elders. Why have you activated the spatial array? Something's not right. Could it be that someone dares to cause trouble in Sky-Bearing City? Even 10 lives wouldn't be enough. The Heaven's Choice Conference had just ended, and there were still many people in Sky-Bearing City. Everyone channeled their sacred power and looked through the air. They were all curious to see the elders on guard. Out of the 36 domains, the Pill domain was the domain with the deepest connections. Not to mention the Pill region's representative, the Elder Assembly. Offending the Pill region's Elder Assembly? Even a rank 7 giant didn't have such a foundation. While the Elder Assembly was on guard in the outside world, inside the Myriad Treasure's secret realm, Lin Chen was fighting 1 against 3, and he wasn't at a disadvantage at all. At this time, Lin Chen's pure power was close to 650 billion dragon power. His War God armor had reached its current limit, but his absolute life and death talent burned his life force in exchange for power. As time passed, it would become stronger and stronger. The vast and continuous Myriad Treasure's mountain range was completely shattered at this time. Most of the spatial enchantment covering the herbs and holy items had dissipated. Many rare treasures floated in the air or sank into the ground. Some of them had been severely damaged. The spatial crystal wall was devastated and almost shattered. The Myriad Treasure's secret realm had endured the aftermath of 3 powerful battles. It was close to the limit. It seemed that it only needed an opportunity to break the shackles of the entire realm from the inside. Bang! Rumble! Another earth-shattering collision. 1 man and 3 devils separated, each taking one side. Lin Chen's breathing was slightly disorderly, but his eyes were full of excitement. He had gained a lot of attribute points from the previous battle. Most importantly, this level of battle was endless for Lin Chen. This king's injuries haven't healed. The wound on the devil heart is expanding. How is this possible? The 2 devil kings were shocked. Clear Sky's Sage King's eyes were full of shock. He had seen Lin Chen's strange trump card in the World Tower. Even though he had been careful, he still didn't know when he had been hit. He didn't use his bloodline ability or any cultivation techniques. Previously, he had been fighting with the 2 strange golden armor, but he had fallen into Lin Chen's trap. The 2 of you, we don't have time to waste with him. This kid is getting stronger and stronger. Kill him with 1 move. When Clear Sky Sage King shouted, the 2 Saint Devil Kings' eyes flashed. They bared their teeth and said ferociously, "Friend Clear Sky, I hope you don't disappoint our race. The 4 of us will help you. If we can't take down this kid or give you enough rewards, we will definitely report your situation to our superiors in the future." Clear Sky Sage King frowned and said, "Stop talking nonsense. There's no turning back. Killing this kid is equivalent to getting rid of a future threat for the devil race." The two devil kings looked at each other, and their expressions softened. They immediately stood behind Clear Sky Sage King. Splat! The two devil kings' bodies cracked, and dozens of spikes protruded from them. In the next moment, the spikes pierced into Clear Sky Sage King's head and temple. Roar! The Clear Sky Saint King let out a roar, and the devil chi in his body surged. The devil chi was like black snakes dancing in the sky. All of the black snakes started to enter the Clear Sky Saint King's glabella and locked onto Lin Shun. The black devil light became even more intense. You want to decide the victor in one move? That's exactly what I want. Lin Shen's arrogance was wanton, and his smile became even crazier. The orange flames burning in his body suddenly intensified. Lin Shen's life force was being drained even faster. At this moment, Lin Shun swung his left leg slightly backward. The ultimate left leg armor of the god of war released a myriad of rays of golden divine radiance that twisted into a golden vortex of light. It was as if all space and time had been sucked into the golden vortex of light. 500 times, 1,000 times, 2,000 times, 4,000 times. The power that Lin Shun received from his life force continued to soar. His dragon power broke through 7 trillion dragon power points, then 8 trillion dragon power points. Lin Shen's fighting spirit surged, and the corners of his mouth rose. With this kick, I'll send you back to your hometown. Chapter 1306. Thousand Saint Devil Burial. The Clear Sky Saint King, who was boosted by the two devil kings, roared as layers of devil chi whirlpools appeared between his brows. A devil golem that spanned half of the myriad treasure's secret realm appeared in the whirlpool and charged at Lin Shun. Break! Lin Shun channeled his energy and charged forward. Then he spun around and kicked the devil statue with his leg. The peerless divine energy that could destroy a Devata realm erupted from his left gauntlet. At this moment, the other two devil kings, Celestial Scarlet and Song Ilien, seemed to have realized something. Their expressions changed slightly, and they retreated immediately. In the outside world, the spatial barrier that sealed the myriad treasure's secret realm cracked open and shone with a golden light. The void began to tremble, and the green-clad powerhouse's expression changed slightly. The green-clad powerhouse reacted quickly and rushed over immediately. Rip, bang, boom, as an explosion that resounded throughout the 9 heavens and 10 earths reverberated, space itself exploded. Brilliant and dazzling golden divine radiance that seemed to have the power to push through 3,000 worlds shot out of the myriad treasure's secret realm and headed straight for the sky above the Pill region. Ilien, Lin Shun, I'll save. Air. The green-clad powerhouse felt his scalp tingle. As a high-ranking official in the Elder Council, he looked as though he had just seen a ghost. What was even more terrifying was the young man in the golden light had raised his left leg and kicked out. 3 figures were sent flying at lightning speed, and they threw up blood. The green-clad powerhouse was dumbfounded. The ones who were sent flying were Clear Sky, Saint King, and the 2 Saint Demon Kings. What was even crazier was that the myriad treasure's secret realm was destroyed by Lin Shen's kick. He destroyed the realm with a single kick. Bang, bang, bang. The space exploded, and the golden light tore through the void. The 2 Saint Devil Kings and the Clear Sky Saint King were sent flying 100,000 miles away in just an instant. The green-clad powerhouse looked at Lin Shun and the Clear Sky Saint King in a daze, and the corner of his mouth twitched violently. What the F***CK? Who was protecting who? Did this brat really need protection? Pill region, sky-bearing city. When the space shook, all the elders were on guard. Suddenly, the hunchbacked old man seemed to have sensed something, and his expression changed drastically. Oh no! Increased the spatial enchantment. As soon as the 10 great elders made their moves and poured their saint energy into the enchantment, the space between heaven and earth seemed to have been stirred up in an instant. The space seemed to have been flipped upside down. Everyone felt as if the world had been turned upside down, just as they were feeling dizzy. Boom, bang, bang. The 10 great elders were forced back by the aftershock of the golden radiance. The sky above sky-bearing city was torn open in almost a thousandth of a breath. A spatial crack that stretched for millions of kilometers appeared above the city. Inside sky-bearing city, everyone's hearts shook. The sky had split open. The sky was instantly filled with golden divine radiance, and 4 figures flashed past in an instant. When the sages activated their saint power and looked at it, they instantly exploded. Look, what's that? F***CK. Holy Demon King? Demons dare to come here? Everyone get ready. Grab your weapons and beat his mother up. We don't have to buy anything. We don't have to sleep with women, but the demons must die. Wait. SSS. Damn, isn't that Lin Shun? There's also that person. F***CK. The Clear Sky Saint King? The Clear Sky Saint King was beaten out? Lin Shun flashed past at an extremely fast speed, but he couldn't avoid the sage's eyes. When they saw the Clear Sky Saint King vomiting blood, even the 10 great elders were stunned. What's going on? How did the Clear Sky Saint King and 2 holy demon kings get beaten out? This kid is too strong. Chi. Boom. Space collapsed, and the air collapsed, forming many golden vortexes. Lin Shun swept across the sky with another kick that had destroyed the planar meteor. With a boom, the entire sky-bearing city shook violently. Bang, bang. The 2 holy demon kings were sent flying. Their demonic blood spurted out, and their attributes dropped rapidly. Lin Shun activated his dragon power and teleported in front of the Clear Sky Saint King again. His golden fist smashed into the Clear Sky Saint King's chest, forcing him to be unable to defend himself even if he wanted to. The Clear Sky Saint King gritted his teeth. Demonic chi seeped out of his body as he clawed at Lin Shun. However, he didn't dodge at all. Instead, he activated his dragon power and closed in on the Clear Sky Saint King, fighting him head-on. He tried his best to avoid the attacks that he could. As for the attacks that he couldn't avoid, Lin Shun also chose to fight head-on. You punch and I kick. It was a win-win situation. There was no fear at all. Some of the geniuses on the monster rankings were stunned. How dare you touch your brother Chun? I'll beat you to death. Since I don't care about life and death, I'll fight head-on. Come on, don't retreat. Are you trying to hide? Old fox, you even brought the demon race to trick me. I'll drag you down with me, even if I die. His body was burning with orange flames, and golden light covered his body. He forced the Clear Sky Saint King's body to retreat. The 2 heavily injured holy demon kings wanted to help the Clear Sky Saint King, but they were kicked thousands of miles away by Lin Shun time and time again. Lin Shun entered the final moment of the absolute life and death talent. His attacks were like a crazy demon. He used both his fists and legs. Uppercuts, elbows, knees, kicks, and whips. Every move was fatal. He closed in on the Saint King and fought head-on. It was as if the god of war had descended. Everyone in the sky-bearing city was stunned. Whether it was the 6th-rank aristocratic families and sects, the 7th-rank Leviathans, the alchemy grandmasters who lived like princes, the reclusive old monsters who had experienced the vicissitudes of life, or the unruly geniuses on the monster ranking, everyone had the same expression on their faces. Their eyes were wide open, and their mouths were so wide open that an egg could fit inside. Ever since the explosion of 10,000 pills in the air, this child had once again let them witness an unforgettable scene. He punched the Clear Sky Saint King and stepped on a high-level demon king. Was this the monster rankings? If only Lin Shun was on the monster rankings, then weren't the other geniuses all idiots? There's actually such a young man in this world. Too cruel. I don't want to be his enemy in this lifetime. Fighting a Saint King head-on. This guy isn't human. It's beyond common sense. How can we be born in the same era as this monster? The people in the monster rankings who were still in the sky-bearing city felt a great sense of loss. Seeing this, the 10 elders of the Council of Elders didn't dare to rashly interfere in the battle. They would be affected by Lin Chen's crazy attacks at any moment. They turned around to protect the millions of people in the sky-bearing city. Bam! 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 Lin Chen's fists caused a series of explosions on the clear sky Saint King's body. Demon blood splattered everywhere, and the Saint King's expression changed. He finally couldn't hold on anymore. The clear sky Saint King's injuries kept accumulating. The extermination and rupture latent ability caused his injuries to snowball. The Saint King didn't even have a space to escape through the spatial passageway. He was defeated by Lin Chen's storm of attacks. Finally, ZZZT. Bam! Lin Chen forgot how many punches he had thrown. When he hit the clear sky Saint King's chest again, the Saint King's body exploded into a bloody mist by Lin Chen. Target killed. Absolute life and death has been removed. Chapter 1307. The moment he destroyed the clear sky Sage King's substitute body, a treasure chest with 5 glowing orange-colored lights dropped. This supreme treasure chest was a little special. The orange-colored flames on Lin Chen's body slowly dissipated, and the 2 God of War parts also dimmed. Lin Chen breathed heavily and let out a long sigh of relief. He had just fought the clear sky Sage King with his last breath. Once the absolute life and death talent was activated, there was no turning back. It was either you die or I die. Luckily, I killed this old man. Otherwise, I would have died. Just as Lin Chen was feeling scared, a new phenomenon appeared in his Saint Cave. A new Saint Cave had appeared in the Tai space. Crack! Crack! 2 crisp cracking sounds came from his body. Lin Chen's 23rd and 24th Saint Caves were opened at this moment. He had broken through the bottleneck. 24 hexagonal star caves shone brightly on his body. Those who witnessed this scene were dumbfounded. They stood rooted to the ground. He won. Lin Chen won. He was too cruel. He had destroyed the clear sky Sage King's body. Many of the geniuses on the demon genius list swore in their hearts that they would never provoke this guy again. He was too sick, too cruel. If anyone said that they were afraid of their status on the demon genius list, they would believe it. But this Lin Chen, he had even killed the clear sky Sage King. Why would he be afraid of his status on the demon genius list? Provoking him was the same as killing himself. The 2 demon kings reacted quickly. When they saw this, they immediately activated their demon blood seals. In a breath's time, they opened the space vortex filled with demonic chi. When the 2 demon kings left, they looked at Lin Chen with fear in their eyes. There is such a monster in the human race. Looks like we have to report this. The appearance of such a person in the human race is a threat to our race's plan. After the 2 demon kings left, the 10 elders did not dare to chase after them. They were from the Elixir region's Elder Guild. After all, they were proficient in alchemy. They were not like those demons who spent all their time fighting and killing. Normally, in a battle of the same level, high-level holy demon kings would definitely be superior. Another breakthrough? Lin Chen looked at his full saint acupoints in shock and sighed. Another breakthrough? But the price I paid was a little tragic. When Lin Chen opened the system, the corner of his mouth twitched. Aries set. Ultimate left gauntlet recharge. 0. 2%. Aries set. Ultimate right armlet recharge. 0. 13%. As for the set essence attribute, although it still had 9 million points, it could only restore 5% of one component's energy. At that time, he would at most be able to deal with a 6th Heaven True Saint. Lin Chen would definitely be in trouble if he were to encounter such a situation again in a short period of time. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Once I've beaten this old man to a pulp, I won't have to worry about him looking for me in the short term. I don't believe that a person who's about to die can come looking for me again and again. Lin Chen calmed himself down and removed the 2 Aries set pieces. He then released the Holy Dragon and collected the attribute light balls dropped by the 2 Holy Demon Kings. Host has received 18 billion high-grade blood essence, 12 billion high-grade blood essence, 3 million high-grade spiritual power, 5 billion enhancement points, 9 million talent points, 900,000 wind energy points. These attribute light balls were of extremely high quality. Lin Chen's blood essence and 6 doppelgangers immediately helped him absorb a huge amount of blood essence attributes. His strength began to soar. Lin Chen's eyes lit up when he grabbed the Clear Sky Holy King's treasure chest. Open Cultivation Technique category. 5 Light Supreme Treasure Chest. Host has received Mid-Orange Movement Technique. 9 Wings of the Heavenly Demon. Once cultivated to 9 wings, the host can travel millions of li in a breath. Even within the sacred boundary, the host can surpass the speed of light. Mid-Orange Movement Technique. Moreover, it was the most precious and rare movement technique in the legends. This is not a loss. Ha ha! Orange tier movement techniques were already ridiculously expensive. Intermediate orange tier movement techniques might not even be available to rank 7 powerhouses. Clear Sky Holy King, I am truly grateful to your entire family. Lin Chen's heart was carefree. When he accepted the cultivation technique, he realized that many people in Sky-bearing City were staring at him. Lin Chen stilled. Then, he brushed his bangs and smiled evilly. Don't be infatuated with this brother. This brother is just a legend. Don't worship me because I belong to this world. Everyone, those who were still admiring Lin Chen to the point of prostrating themselves before him a moment ago, had their admiration reduced by half. However, after this battle, Lin Chen would definitely cause a huge commotion in the sacred boundary in the near future. His achievements in alchemy and battle achievements were unprecedented. If things went wrong, he might even alert the Genius Saint ranking. You always come and cause a ruckus every time. You don't even bring me along. The moment the spatial barrier was removed, the little demon Empress immediately rushed over with the people of Purple Cloud King Valley. The little demon Empress angrily punched Lin Chen. The elders of Purple Cloud King Valley could only smile bitterly. Bring you along? Good heavens, Lin Chen hit a Holy King substitute. Miss, you want to hit a Holy King too? They couldn't bear the responsibility. Don't worry. I'm also on the monstrous genius ranking now. We will have many opportunities to work together. The pale Lin Chen still revealed a tacit, evil smile. The little demon Empress smiled. The 2 demons looked at each other and smiled. The elders couldn't help but feel scared. Prince Lin Chen, are you all right? Fairy Scarlet shuttled through the void. Her aura was slightly weak, and she looked worried. Lin Chen's heart warmed. This time, it was all thanks to Fairy Scarlet. Otherwise, if there was another high-level Holy Demon King besieging him, the result wouldn't be optimistic. Lin Chen immediately asked, "Where are the 2 Holy Demon Kings?" Fairy Scarlet said, "They left not long after you broke the spatial barrier of the Myriad Treasure's secret realm. You have to be careful. The potential you showed will definitely attract the attention of the Devil Race." "Don't I have you?" Lin Chen teased. Fairy Scarlet rolled her eyes at him. "I can't help you every time." The 10 elders of the Elders Guild heaved a sigh of relief when they saw that although Lin Chen's aura was weak, he was still lively. When they activated their holy power and looked through the void, they saw their cyan-robed leader repairing the spatial barrier while messing around in the wind. They were stunned again. When they looked again, the 10 elders' mouths suddenly trembled a few times. The entire Myriad Treasure's secret realm was torn apart. The treasures inside, especially the easternmost region, where a huge hole of hundreds of thousands of feet was kicked out, destroying the barrier with one kick. This young man is too terrifying. The elders' hearts twitched a few times, and they couldn't help but smile bitterly. Immediately, 7 elders shuttled through the void and joined the operation to repair the Myriad Treasure's secret realm. What made all the elders feel even more pained were the treasures in the Myriad Treasure's secret realm. Although it wasn't too late to rescue them, more than 30% of the treasures were scattered into the endless void because of the collapse of the spatial barrier. Even if the cyan-robed leader took action, it would be difficult to retrieve all of them, let alone repair the myriad treasures' secret realm. However, they couldn't blame Lin Chun. After all, it was the Clear Sky Holy King who took the initiative to attack him. Lin Chun seemed to have thought of something. He immediately shuttled through the void and returned to the myriad treasures' secret realm. There were still attribute treasure chests in the myriad treasures' secret realm that he hadn't taken yet. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.